Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Oktoberkast 2013. It starts now, 8 minutes late. So that means we're running until 12:08 tomorrow. As always, I'm joined here by Norman Chan and Gary Whitta. Hey, Norman Chan. Nice job, guys. I didn't think we were going to start this today. I thought things got a little hairy there at the last minute, but we're good now.
You need to wipe some sweat off your brow?
I'm pouring over here. It looks like
Are you okay?
I'm fine. I'm doing
Look,
good.
the Skype is logged in. It's all working,
Nice.
Will.
Everything worked.
Everything is working.
Minute.
The very, very last possible minute. Hi, everybody.
Hey, guys. So if you are just joining us for the very first time, I'm not sure why, but this is Oktoberkast. It is our 24-hour podcast marathon where we raise money for charities. Charities.
Three of them.
In the past and this year, we support Child's Play, which is a great charity that's run by the folks at Penny Arcade, where they raise money to put toys, games, and amusements in children's hospitals around the world. They've raised a ton of money over the last 8 or 9 years that they've been running it. It is a fantastic charity, and they do really good work because, there's nothing worse than a sick kid.
I quite
As
agree.
you know, you both know from
both
personal
know
experience.
First-hand experience of that, yes.
Yeah. So in addition to Child's Play this year, we're also supporting Doctors Without Borders. Doctors Without Borders goes around the world to places where there are disasters, conflict, places where it's difficult to get good medical care. And what they do...
Like America.
It's not that bad.
Oh,
We have,
so you
we
get
have bad
political early.
websites. Oh.
Not quite as bad as America. But what they do is they send doctors all around the world and do very good work. Again, another.
It's like the
low overhead.
A-team. The doctors become the A-team.
That's pretty much it. Yeah. It's I don't know which one is Murdoch.
It's like,
though.
like in Predator when Arnold and his team go into that jungle village and kill everyone. It's like the opposite of that.
Right, they go
They
in.
go into the village and give health to everyone.
If it
and everyone
bleeds,
gets better.
we can heal it.
Yeah, there you go. That's good. Good job.
Exactly.
I think it's going to be the best podcast ever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Either that or we've blown all our A material
Yeah,
in the
but
first 10
that's it.
minutes.
That's the 24 hours right there. So in addition to Doctors Without Borders and Child's Play, we also have support for the Electronic Frontier Foundation, the EFF, as it were. The EFF, it goes out and protects digital freedom on the internet. So they're at the forefront of everything from legislation that's designed to fight copyright or protect copyright and take away personal freedom, all the way down to stuff like the NSA wiretaps and all that stuff.
By
So
the
they're
way,
constantly in the news. It's a really great charity, and we are supporting them as well.
a lot of people complaining your mic is too low. Just to
I'm
let
bringing
you know.
it up even
Okay.
more right now.
All
How's
right, good.
that? Is that better?
But that's a good cadre of charities right there. That covers sick children,
Yep.
sick people in general all around the world,
Yep.
and internet
Physically
freedom
sick,
and,
not
and
sick-minded,
privacy.
though.
Yeah.
Well, mentally sick too. They do mental care cases as well.
And people who are against the EFF, they're sick-minded.
Oh, that's
patent
I'm cool
trolls.
with that. Patent trolls, yeah. So, okay, so how can you help us help support Oktoberkast? If you like what we're doing so far, I'm a little sad because we've just been talking about nonsense so far. Well, serious stuff, but it's not very exciting so far. We have many ways to donate. Crowd Tilt, which is a group fundraising service, has agreed to waive their fees. We have 3 campaigns set up on Crowd Tilt. You can get to them by going to tested.com/kids, tested.com/doctors, and tested.com/electrons.
That's very clever.
So Kids goes to Child's Play, Doctors goes to Doctors Without Borders, and Electrons goes to the Electronic Frontier Foundation.
That makes a whole lot of sense.
I figured that was the easiest way to do it, and I didn't want to do like the EFF.
so it's
anyway,
kids, doctors, and electrons. Is that right?
Kids, doctors, and electrons. You'll need to sign up for Crowd Tilt, which I apologize. There was no avoiding signing up for a service this year. And then you can donate all of the money that you donate, shy of the 2.5% that the credit card company takes, goes to the charity. So Crowd Tilt doesn't take any money. Tested doesn't take any money. This is all going to the kids. Norm, there's 2 more plugs in there that need to go in, a USB plug and a mini DisplayPort plug as well.
So you can choose what charity you want to donate to.
You can choose which of the 3. We're counting them all toward the Oktoberkast total. And
So we're not going to say which charity was the winner then.
all the charities are the winners.
Right, but we're not going to say we're not going to itemize the donations here. We're not going to say like, which charity
We'll
got
call
which,
out
how much.
charities get. Well, it's not a contest. I mean, it is a contest. But in the larger sense, it is not a contest.
I don't think we should be making sick kids fight sick
Electrons?
people and freedom people.
Get those kids to jam their forks in the plugs, and the electrons versus kids battle starts right there. This is the kind of quality entertainment you guys can expect from 24 hours of This Is Only a Test. Okay, so what are we doing for 24 hours, guys? Do you have anything planned out?
There's a whole schedule in front of me, so yes.
Okay, so that worked out. We have a whole cadre of fantastic guests coming up.
Is that the official the
collective noun?
Collective noun for guests?
Well, because I used cadre earlier, I think it's now stuck in Will's head. Now cadre is now become the drinking word or something.
Every time we say cadre, Ozone has to donate $1.
Okay, let's do
that.
That
worked the first time.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have a ton of great guests coming up at the 1 o'clock hours. Brad Shoemaker, 2 o'clock hour. Dave Snider.
Wow.
So we're doing a giant bomb / unemployed new startup double whammy there. I don't know what Dave's going to talk about. I think we're going to talk about new consoles with Brad because that's at the forefront of everybody's minds. And you can follow along all 24 hours. We're on 3 places. This content is going out 4 places, really.
Whoa.
You can chat directly with the tested audience at tested.com/chat. Watch the stream.
That's where the hip kids are.
Chat with people. It's where the cool kids are. It's a low traffic.
But we're all there right now.
I'm there.
I'm there.
They're also.
I'm there.
We're also
I
on the
suppose,
YouTube.
yes.
On YouTube, so you can find us on the YouTubes. Maybe Norm will go out and send a blast out to all of our YouTube subscribers to let them know to check out that subscription page. We're on Mixlr. If you want an audio-only stream that'll work on pretty much any device that has a web browser. So that's mixlr.com/Will Smith. And then we're also on Twitch TV. We were going to put it on Justin, and I asked, and everybody said, no, don't put it on Justin.
Isn't it the same?
No, the technology is different now. So there's like web-based iOS client for Twitch that isn't on Justin yet and stuff like that.
Another technical note, the Mixlr stream does not sound good, apparently. Sounds weird.
Okay, so Joey will be working on that in the background. There's nothing I can do about that.
I'm just letting
I appreciate it. It's good that you
passing information
call
on
attention to our many failures.
Well, I mean, we could either know about them or not, and have them continue to be bad.
That's true. The only way a failure is really a failure is if you don't learn from it. So now we've learned. We should have gotten here at 9 o'clock.
First step is admitting you have a problem.
I think the mistake was going to get breakfast, frankly.
What was wrong with that?
Well, we lost 30 minutes. Those extra 30 minutes would have been great 12 minutes ago.
Simmer down.
Yes, but also that breakfast was it had value.
It was a delicious breakfast.
Yeah, you got to start there with some protein.
I'm hearing a little bit of an echo from Gary, but I think it might just be in my headphones. So what all is going on with you guys? We haven't seen you in a while, Gary. What's going on?
Yeah, I don't remember the last time I was here.
It's been a month at least.
It's been a while. I don't get to do it as often as I
think we've
would
had
like.
a Jeremy, a Lloyd, and 2 Wes's since you were here.
Yeah,
last.
that's usually how I remember it. Is like how many people have been on since I was last
That's your
on.
worth, right? Your worth is a Jeremy, a Lloyd,
I'm
and
worth
2 Wes's.
at least 1 Lloyd, 1 Jeremy, and 2 Wes's.
At least.
In the currency of podcasting. Yeah, it's been a while.
Right.
What have I missed? We missed Apple announcements. We missed.
Have you been here since the 5S came out?
Surface 2. No, I wasn't here for the 5S.
Do you have a 5S?
No.
Whoa.
There you go. First big bombshell of the week.
Boom.
Yeah.
Gary skips the iPhone 5.
Still got my good old-fashioned 5 right over here.
So we podcasted earlier this week about this past week's Apple announcements. I don't know. You have any opinions about any of the things that were discussed?
I always have opinions. That's why I'm here.
No snap opinions, though. These are carefully reasoned.
Well, no, but this is the good. But well, that's why I think when those people are live streaming and live blogging, I'm glad that there's been a little bit of a.
Those people?
Well, people like you, basically, that just have these kind of knee-jerk reactions on Twitter. I'm glad that some people are stepping away from that and deciding that it's better to think. Just take 5 minutes and think about something before you go, this is horrible or this is great.
So here.
The thing?
A, I'm a little bit offended, but B.
Good. That's what I was going for.
The knee-jerk reactions are almost always right. Virtually always correct.
Really?
That's not a reason to have a knee-jerk reaction.
Is this a Malcolm Gladwell Blink thing?
Here's the thing.
The power of not thinking?
The things that I had knee-jerk reactions to this year were that free is pretty much the only fair price for Mavericks. I think that's correct, even after using it more.
We can also talk about Mavericks. I mean,
Your mic is dead.
Thing. My mic is dead.
Your mic is very quiet.
I don't know. What I can do with that. Hello.
I can hear him fine.
Huh.
He's in my
Oh,
cans.
okay. If you're
I just turned up the gain, so it should be crazy loud now.
wow. Technical difficulties as a way to kick this off.
There we go. I'm back.
All right,
Hi.
Will's back.
Is he back? He's never been gone out of my ears.
Maybe it just wasn't going out.
We're
Okay.
we're doing
All
all
right.
sorts of fancy stuff so
Okay.
that Joey can talk to us through our headphones, but won't go out over the stream. It
All
may
right.
have
So
fucked the whole
why
system.
nothing in my
don't you
headphones,
start
but
it?
if I have it
Explain your
Okay, yes.
explain your philosophy of
headphones are on
relentless
now, Norm.
negativity to me again from the
My
beginning.
philosophy is not relentless negativity.
Well, I
my-
mean, anyone following your Twitter feed during an Apple announcement might be led to
Let
believe
me tell you a
otherwise.
secret about the last couple of Apple announcements. They've been kind of garbage. They're
they?
rolling out with products that are, incremental and underwhelming. The iOS 7
Incremental and underwhelming. I don't think a MacBook Mini or iPad Mini with Retina display.
So the
underwhelming
iPad
at
Mini
all.
with Retina is the one light point in an otherwise grim, foreboding Apple. Let's just run through the announcements. Mavericks. Do you like Mavericks, Gary?
I think it's a very minor update. There are a couple of things of all the updates that have come out recently. Going back to probably Leopard is the last one that I can really remember the changes. It feels like the most minor.
Yeah. Snow Leopard. It's right up there with Snow Leopard.
Yeah.
Although Snow Leopard brought noticeable performance improvements. So this
Was
is kind
Snow
of
Leopard the one
underwhelming.
where they said that's when they first brought the price down to like $20?
Yeah,
Right?
somebody was sitting there and was like, man, I don't think for unified OpenCL that no apps are using along with CPU
So
Service
computing.
packs.
until they do the next big update, I think this is where they are now, right? They're basically, these are like service packs where they give them away for free.
Which is the right approach, just to be clear.
There are a couple of things about it. There's one or two features that I like very much, but for the most part, yeah, I think if it was $20, even at $20, a lot of people would be like, "What? Why would I bother?" Because it doesn't. I mean, there are a few things under the hood. Apparently, if you've got a laptop, you'll get better battery performance.
I would pay $20 for that.
certainly
That sounds great.
worthwhile. I personally like the maps feature. I like being able to send maps straight to my phone.
Really?
Yeah.
But then you have to use Apple Maps.
But I use Apple Maps. In California, it's perfectly fine. I'm fully aware that Maps has a lot of problems in other parts of the country. People may be driving off bridges into the river or whatever. But where I go, in San Francisco and northern Southern California, back and forth, Apple Maps has never driven me into a brick wall or anything.
So
I generally find where I'm going.
okay, so I play a game sometimes where I load up Google Maps and Apple Maps and tell them to take me to the same place.
Yeah.
And then let Siri and the Google voice duel.
Can you do that?
Yeah, you can totally do that.
Wow.
It's a really bad idea.
I like Google Maps to has some
Is it better
benefits.
if you change it to the male Siri voice? So it's like a bickering, like app couple.
That's not a terrible idea.
Google Maps definitely
Turn left.
has
No,
some
turn
things
right.
going for it. It has a better voice, a nicer, more human-sounding voice. It has ultimately a better and much more mature map foundation, right? Because
yes.
Google Maps has been doing this for a
And
long
constantly being updated faster.
time. And the other thing I like about it is you get the real-time traffic being baked into your arrival time works much better in Google Maps than it does on Apple, and I think that's an important feature as well if you're trying to get somewhere in traffic or whatever. But like I said, the maps are accurate enough for me in the places I go, and I also like the fact that the Apple Maps is baked into the OS, so that even if I go out of it, it's always on that top banner. I can get back to the maps very easily, whereas Google Maps is just treated like another app that gets folded into the background.
Well, that's the big problem with Apple Maps, with Google Maps, is that it's not integrated with the OS, and there's
Right.
no way to make that the default setting,
Right.
unless you use Gmail and Chrome instead of Mail.app and Safari.
So
Alright,
on
so
Mavericks, I like
Mavericks.
being able. So I
Mavericks.
pull up my maps on my Mavericks and say, well, I want to go here, and it plots out a destination for me, and I say, send that to my phone, and it goes to. It's all linked up via iCloud, and then I don't have to mess around. When I get in the car with my phone to put a thing into my map.
You've been able to do that for a long time, though, because you could do that with the Chrome Send to Mobile feature. If you are a Chrome user, you just load up Google Maps in Chrome, and blast the URL over, and it pops right up and it opens straight in Google Maps.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Mavericks is kind of underwhelming. It's a service pack essentially.
I mean, look, when you go through the Mavericks, when you go to their splash page and say, here's why you should get Mavericks, their number one feature is iBooks. Like that's what an update this is.
So-
If
little-
it's
like, who
battery life,
cares?
I would pay.
I haven't seen the battery life improvement, though, although it's difficult for me to judge because I have been on a kind of incremental thing going through a bunch of betas.
They got rid of the
until we got to the
skeuomorphism. I
Goldmaster.
imagine
That's
you'd be
nice.
happy about that.
I like that.
There are some neat little features in Safari. The iCloud keychain is a thing. I mean, there's lots of generally what happens is what I've noticed is it's rarely like the top line features like iBooks and maps and things like that, but it's the hundreds of tiny little things you go, oh, you can do this now. That's handy.
And just to be clear, that's one of the things that Apple's always done that I really liked is with every OS 10 update since I've been using OS 10, they always have that page that has, here is all of the stuff that we changed. You know, it's this and this and this and this and this and this and this, which is, I think, super cool. Really a good thing. Let's move on.
Well, okay. So other
So
announcements
Maverick's
that have been,
not particularly. Do you think this is the last one? Do you think the next one will be a big overhaul of the OS?
because Mavericks was the first of the new naming schemes inspired by California.
Right.
So
Because the next one's going to be like Fresno or whatever it is. It'll be kind of just another.
They wouldn't
Grapevine.
They wouldn't have
Comic-Con.
They wouldn't have switched to a new naming scheme if they were planning on doing OS 11.
Right.
Like this would have been Sea Lion or Lemur or something.
Right.
Some House Cat.
So is that their way of saying more incremental
Get used to it,
updates?
motherfuckers.
There's not going to be a big overhaul.
Get used to it, motherfuckers.
But it does seem like, I think with Mavericks, we're seeing the first real indication that they are trying to make it a more iOS 7 type experience.
No way, dude. We've been seeing that since Lion.
But I think this is the most that I felt it with this update.
Well, it's clearly they're moving toward a unified interface. But the thing that I like about Mavericks, and this is actually the good part, is they didn't shovel anything that doesn't make sense on a desktop, like Launchpad and that kind of stuff, into the OS. They also have refined a lot of the stuff that they dumbed down at some point in the past, whether it was with the Lion or Mountain Lion. Like Spaces on multiple monitors works really, really well now. Like if you are a multiple monitor user and you haven't upgraded to Mavericks yet, you're really missing out.
I'm not a multiple monitor user, but I know that people who do regularly use multiple screens are very pleased about this update.
But an unexciting update.
It means
overall lame.
Yeah, exactly. So after that, talked about Mac Pros. Talk about Mac Pros for a moment, gentlemen.
Now the new Mac Pro is pretty sexy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's super cool. I don't know who the market for that machine is anymore.
The Mac Pro is actually the machine which in recent Apple history has been given the most reinvention, right? Everything else is just incremental, but the Mac Pro they have actually completely redone.
I mean, since the Air, which was the redesigned Air, which was the last kind of big, because the Retina MacBook is essentially a MacBook Pro without a slot, you know. The Mac Pro is really interesting, but since the main market, as I understand it, for that was people who were doing Final Cut work, and many of those people are abandoning Final Cut 7 for Premiere and other tools that aren't necessarily Mac exclusive. I don't know who spends $3,000 on that workstation, 3 to 6, whatever it goes up to.
If you work in special effects or other creative fields, let us know if you want to buy a Mac Pro.
I mean,
I'm sure there's a market for it.
I totally get that there's people out there. It seems like it's going against the direction Apple's been going. You know, they've been drilling down and getting more and more consumer, moving more away from the pickup truck and toward the sports car and the scooter. And I don't know, you know, to use Jobs' analogy, I don't know what, I mean, I get why they did it. I'm glad they did it. I think it's an interesting product. I wish that there was, you know, I applaud, I think that the direction to go SSD only on that machine is definitely forward looking, but I don't think we're there yet with the costs for flash storage.
But wouldn't you imagine that a lot of people would just put in a Thunderbolt hard drive as well?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, paying a high premium for Thunderbolt hard drives is exactly what most people who are in a IT type situation
They're
want.
paying a high premium for that computer.
I know it's an expensive machine for what it is. And like if you're a video editor, having a whole shitload of SSD, having the amount of SSD space that they put in those does you no good because it's not enough. If you're doing CAD work, it's the same situation, and you're looking at another, say, $1,200 plus cost of drives for a Thunderbolt RAID array, which isn't terribly expensive, but by the time you're fully outfitted without a monitor, you're looking at $5,000 or $6,000 on that thing pretty fast.
It does puzzle me a little bit. I mean, like, who is the market, right? It's professionals. It's people whose computer sits under a desk. That you think like the Mac Pro has always been the least sexy looking Mac, right? Because it's a utilitarian Mac. It's not supposed to wow people. It's just supposed to do its job. It's a workhorse.
It still look great doing it.
And yet, a big part of this reinvention has been about, oh my God, look at this beautiful, lovely, sexy, round, black 2001 type thing. But again, the people that are in the market for this machine shouldn't really be caring about that. It sits under their desk and it just does its job.
It has a handle.
So I do wonder why, as Will says, more IT procurement people and just people in general just say, well, wouldn't it be cheaper just to build a high-end PC? It's very easy to swap components in and out, and everything's, it's not proprietary like a lot of the Apple stuff. Why not just do that?
Yeah.
Especially since people, again, if people are abandoning Final Cut because they don't like the changes that Apple made, that was really the number one reason to work on a Mac, was that Final Cut was the standard. And I think it still is in many places.
Yeah. So Mac Pro. I mean, it's a beautiful machine. It is a workstation you put on top of your desktop. I think that's very cool. I think in 2 years, if they keep with that machine, when SSD prices are down enough that you can put 2 or 3 terabytes of SSD storage in there and it not cost a fortune, that it's a really interesting machine. But it doesn't have upgradable graphics for the most, as far as we can tell. They haven't really said anything about that yet that I'm aware of. And it's a niche market for what is increasingly a mainstream company. But the next thing is neat. I mean, I'm glad that they finally updated the Mac Pro Retinas, MacBook Pros with Retina, because it's time. So Haswell on MacBook Pros with Retina, 13-inch. We talked about this a little bit on this week's This Is Only a Test, so apologies if it's a rehash. But the 13-inch is integrated graphics. The 15-inch has an option of getting discrete graphics. I think either of those are probably pretty good machines. The Haswell graphics have been pretty impressive.
The Mac Pros definitely have been due for an update for a while, so this is good.
Okay.
And they're keeping the 13-inch MacBook Pro with the slot, which I thought would probably go away this year.
Non-Retina.
The non-Retina.
The old school one.
Yeah. So
when you say the slot, what do you mean, like a CD drive?
Yeah, DVD drive.
Right, okay.
Still has a DVD drive. Super drive. Yeah. DVD and CD burning. It's crazy. Okay, so now it gets into interesting stuff. The iPad Air, I was initially kind of underwhelmed because I thought that the iPad already weighed a pound, when in reality it weighs 1.5 pounds. The 10-inch iPad. It is a nice looking piece of hardware. I am reserving all further judgment about it until I actually get a chance to hold it in my hand.
You have always complained about the iPad being too heavy, so maybe this is finally the.
And I've never owned the iPad 2. I've only had the iPad 1 and the 3, which only went pretty much heavier.
For me, I never thought the iPad was too heavy until I started using the Mini, and I'm like, oh my god, this other thing is ridiculous. And I got rid of my full-size iPad. I just used the Mini.
And this is something we said also in this week's podcast. It's asinine if you're going to buy both the Air and the new Mini. They're basically the same, and you're saving $100 by going with the Mini, which some people like you, and will like the smaller size.
Yeah.
You lose the screen size, get the same resolution. Maybe battery life is going to be.
I do want to go in the store and check it out. I don't think I want a full-size one, but it might be like the iPhone 5 where you pick it up and you go, wow, people said this was
so
light,
you'd go for both because there's no way you're not.
No, I wouldn't get both. But the fact that they've staggered the release, if it was day and date on both of them, I would just get the Mini. But the fact that they're going to make us wait an extra three weeks.
That's not why they staggered the release. They staggered the release because they couldn't make enough Minis for the demand.
I think that's the reason.
But I think very few people, even I'm not stupid enough to buy both.
Yes.
So I don't think that's really
Don't buy both.
Yeah.
Even if you have,
But it is possible that I'll go into. I was all set to say I don't want the full-size iPad anymore. I'm all about the Mini. Put Retina in that A7. I'm good to go. That's the product that people really wanted.
I'm completely down with that, by the way. That's absolutely
right.
But
if I go into the store in early November on some crisp autumn day and pick up the iPad, and it's
with
like
a belly full of millionaire's bacon.
Yes, it's light as a feather, and I can really hold it in one hand. I might have to call an audible on that. Because, once that gadget lust then kicks in a real way.
If you have an iPad in the living room and then an iPad for the nightstand, what's really the harm in that, Gary? You get a 16 gig for one of them, and then you're scrimping.
It is a bit overkill, isn't it?
It's ridiculous.
No, you got to wait for the Mini. The Mini's the way to go.
Sometime is it mid-November yet?
They just said later in November.
Oh, is it later in November yet then?
Yeah.
Not yet.
Yeah, not yet.
It's
going to be November 30th, isn't it?
I woke up the other day and thought it was...
It must be before Thanksgiving.
Oh, right. It will have to be.
Thanksgiving is also the last week of November.
I wonder if you better order them online. I really don't want to have to. I think I'm done standing in lines for products. I really want to believe that's the case. And I've got all my other things, all my other goodies for this Christmas are all pre-ordered already.
Yeah.
To be delivered. And I don't want to have to stand in a line.
Nobody wants to stand in a line. But sometimes, Gary, you have to stand in line. Sometimes.
You might have to because of your job, but I don't. I don't have to anymore.
I'll see you at Stonestown.
I'm an adult and I make my own decisions.
See you at Stonestown.
No, look at me.
I
broke the streak on the 5S. I didn't get the 5S. I did not stand in line. Yeah. I did not even stay up late to do the mashing the order button until 3 o'clock in the morning. You're just as much of a sucker to do that, really.
Absolutely.
So
unless you need to do it for work.
I felt very invigorated when I woke up the next morning after the iPhone 5S came out and I didn't have one. And the sky hadn't fallen in. I was like, hey, maybe this is okay.
You're like an addict in recovery.
Maybe I can live this way.
Cold turkey.
I have a last generation phone.
You're like Jesse Pinkman in the rehabilitation center.
Yeah.
You got to forgive yourself.
Yeah, it's kind of okay.
Yeah.
It is okay to
I'm
not
at
have the latest thing, Gary.
I'm at peace with it. Well, it's easy for you to say. You have the latest thing.
Yeah, it's not really mine, though. I'm proud of you. You've done good.
I mean, like I said, I've spent some real time with the 5S now, and it is a very nice phone. But no way is it enough of an upgrade to be worth it for me from the 5. I'm quite happy to wait for the 6. Because if I get the 5S now and burn my contract, I'm off contract right now.
Okay.
So if I were to get the subsidized price on the 5S, what I want to do is get back onto the cycle where I get the subsidized price on the big one.
That's the way to go.
And then skip the S generation. But
Yeah.
I have to make that break now.
So right
to
now
get
you're
to-
off contract and you haven't gotten a phone yet?
Right.
I'm really proud of you, Gary.
So I'm going to hold so I can use my contract discount on the
Yeah.
6 and then skip. The S is the one where I'd be on contract, but I can skip it.
This is a good one to skip.
Yeah.
I mean, just to be clear.
It is. The thumbprint sensor is nice, but it's not enough to
I'll tell you,
justify the phone.
The thumbprint sensor. So after I've been using this now for a couple of weeks, we shot the video and our long in-depth review is up now. The thing that I like best about it isn't the thumbprint; it's actually the camera. The camera's really, really good in low light, which
Yeah,
it turns out is my entire house. So I find myself taking pictures with it more often than the NEX, just because, like, if something interesting is happening, it's easier to whip that out than it is to get up and go grab the NEX. When I know something good is going to happen, I still grab the NEX. So let's take a moment and talk about why we're here. Do you want to? It's been 30 minutes.
Sure. Oh, only 30 minutes?
It's only, yeah, I know.
With 48 more of these to go?
Yep.
124th.
No, we're 148th. 124th would be 60
148th.
minutes.
Oh my god.
And actually, we're not even 124th because we're still 4 minutes short of the start. We're here to raise money for a couple of really good charities. A handful. 3. Child's Play, Doctors Without Borders, and the Electronic Frontier Foundation. If you want to give money to either of these charities in the name of Oktoberkast, and don't worry, none of the money will ever see our hands, so Gary and Norm can't take it to Vegas.
I
No
really like that
opportunity
idea.
to take any kind of finder's fee or anything.
You can't put it all on
unfortunately.
black, which
I still think that would be the way to go.
just
Think how happy those kids would be if we doubled their money.
Or if we
and if-
tripled it and we had gave each charity the
3
amount,
times the money?
3 times.
And if we lost it, it's not like they haven't really lost anything because they didn't have the money even to begin.
So you're not
with.
watching
So-
the podcast.
This
Yeah,
kind of
they don't know.
nonsense. This kind of nonsense is why the money goes directly from Crowd Tilt into the charities' bank accounts, so that we can't take it to Vegas
we
and
could
make
take
bad
it to
decisions.
Vegas. Just hear me out on this.
Okay.
We could take it to Vegas. We
Run-
could put it all on black.
Okay.
And just for a few minutes, feel alive.
Just
Feel that rush.
and then the rest of your life, you're going to feel the normal
And then if you
extra
lose,
dead.
and if you lose,
Yeah.
these kids are none the wiser. Like you said, they're not listening to this.
So the other benefit of the money going directly from the charity and never seeing us is that people can get a tax-deductible receipt for their donation. So if you donate money to Oktoberkast-sponsored charities, Doctors Without Borders, Child's Play, and the EFF, then, and this is going to blow your mind, you can deduct that money from your income at the end of the year as if you never earned it. It's
I am
comes
familiar
right
with the
off
fact
of
that when you donate
I'm
to
explaining
charity,
to the people at
that's-
home.
that tax deductions
Yeah,
take place.
so it's a good thing. These are tax deductible 501c3 PO charities.
I always feel like maybe that takes some of the charity out of it, though, because if you're getting the money back from the government anyway, are you
You're not
really
getting
giving
all
anything?
the money back. You're
No,
getting
no, no.
about a third of it back.
No, it
get
means,
some of it back.
yeah, it's 30 to 40% off of your donation. So if you donate $400, it's really, hold on, let me do it the other way. Yeah, if you donate $400, it's really like you're only paying $300 for that donation.
Or the other way is if you want to only contribute $300,
Yeah.
the extra $100 is care of the government.
Thanks, Obama.
Yeah, thanks, Obama. So tax deductible, the URLs, it's easy to donate. You can go to tested.com
Is it true that only American people can donate?
to CrowdTilt.
Yeah.
Ooh, I didn't know about that.
Is it? Somebody said that you had to be in the U.S., but I don't know if that's true.
I don't know about that. I didn't even think to ask that when I set up the thing with them.
Yeah.
It may be. You may be able to PayPal. Maybe you can PayPal your money to a friend in the U.S. and then they'll do the donation for you. Because what
I
could possibly
volunteer.
go wrong with that? Norm's going to turn your money into 3
Or
times
yeah,
the money.
PayPal it directly to me.
No, don't-
And
don't-
I will personally see that it gets to the right people.
And I'll hold you accountable.
And by the right people, I mean my bookmaker.
Yes.
Mr. Pai and Mr.
Yeah.
Gao.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so what else is going on here?
Well, let's take a step back.
Tested.com/kids, tested.com/doctors, tested.com/electrons. All 3 of those URLs will take you there, and that is pretty much what you need to know. This is not the right version of the app, Joey. That is the problem here. I'm going to get it right now. Okay. We're working on Mixler, by the way. If you guys are waiting for the Mixler stream, that's what we're working on right now. Wiley, you guys talk
on
amongst
Mixler.
yourselves.
Norm and I will talk.
We will.
Now,
Gary,
Norm, I want to ask you, Norm. All this Apple talk. Does when Will and I talk about Apple now, does it just sound like the teacher from Peanuts? Like wah, 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 wah,
No.
because you are now Mr. Surface, Microsoft, Android, HTC person. You don't have any Apple products left in your life.
I do. It's underneath the table, actually.
What do you have under there?
I have my MacBook Air right now as my backup computer. So
Okay. But you use a PC at home, don't you?
I do use a PC at home.
Okay.
Yeah. The Surface 2 right now, which I don't think you've seen before.
No, this is the Surface 2.
This is the 2. So this
Is this a big improvement from the Surface 1?
Yes, it
Okay.
is a big improvement from the Surface 1, but there are two Surfaces. Remember, there's a Surface RT and there's the Pro.
The Pro.
The Pro that we have set up over there, that's going to be our Skype machine, is last year's Pro. We don't have the
Okay.
new Pro.
What's this one?
This is the Surface 2, which replaces the RT. It's still ARM. Only
Okay, so
ARM
it's still
processor.
this is not a full PC.
This is not a full
Okay.
PC. I do have I have a desktop here, and I'm using Internet Explorer on the desktop
How do you do that if it's RT?
because RT still has a desktop for file browsing, for
Ah.
the Office apps, and for Internet Explorer.
Okay,
But you can't install any x86 programs on this.
right. You couldn't put Steam on that or anything.
You couldn't put
Okay.
Steam on it. You couldn't put your instant messaging
You
on
can't
it.
put Chrome on it.
You can't put any web browser on it except Internet Explorer.
Mm.
So even in the RT apps,
Okay.
there's nothing.
So how have they made this one better than the last one that was a big flop?
So the last one, the Tegra 3 for Windows RT was not particularly fast enough for
Okay.
the RT apps, and the apps weren't optimized yet. Much better with the Tegra 4. Tegra 4. I'm doing actually a battery rundown, so it was 100% when we started. So when this dies, at the end, 6 hours, 7 hours, 8 hours in, I'll know how long the battery lasts.
Okay. How long is it supposed to last?
I think 8 hours.
All right.
It's
Now, the
it's the way
previous
it-
Service RT came in for a lot of criticism.
yeah.
Has this obviated some of those?
The biggest criticism, there are two big criticisms. One was performance in terms of apps crashing and loading, how long that stuff took, and two, the app ecosystem. Now we talked to Panos Panay, the Microsoft
The
VP,
honcho.
Right.
the guy who invented the Surface
Right.
and runs the whole Surface department, and he said, "Name an app. Name something you need to do on the on Windows that's not there now." Yes, we concede that a year ago the app ecosystem with Windows 8 launched and there weren't enough apps, but
Yeah.
now we've remedied that.
Have they?
There's Twitter and there's Facebook. Sure, there's Twitter and there's Facebook.
Is it
but
still grim, the rest of it?
it's very grim. I don't have my banking app. There's no Spotify. There's no.
Can you use IE to bank? Or is it a
Yes,
supported browser?
you can use Internet Explorer to bank. You cannot use Internet Explorer to Spotify. The fact that
Really?
you still only have Internet Explorer as the only browser, not great.
I don't think, I'm going to go ahead and, I don't want to alarm you, but I don't think Apple or Google are going to release their browsers for that. Firefox maybe eventually. It just takes them a while, right?
Does this still have the problem with like most of the hard drive space not actually being usable? Or have they
This is a
fixed that as
32
well?
gig model, and no, it's still like with the 32 gig model. I think you still have to use that separate USB.
Yeah, so the
to
nice thing
pull
about
out the partition.
the RT has a micro SD slot, so you can jam a 64 gig
Oh,
micro SD
okay.
card in
Well,
there
that's good.
for another $100.
Yeah. It looks nicer than
Doesn't it? Or
last
does it
year's
not?
model.
Oh, it doesn't.
No.
Oh, okay, never mind. It was hidden. Yeah, it does. It's right there. That's it. Yeah.
It
was-
looks like
was
it
hard
looks
to
like
find.
a better build than last year's.
Yeah, it's a very nice build. The
big-
biggest physical
yeah.
change is this hinge.
Did they make that more sturdy?
I don't know if it's more. I'm not going to break it.
You're not
Don't
going to do
this
what you
time?
did last time.
Norm broke
This
the last
time?
one.
Can
Nice
we show
job,
that
Norm.
clip?
No, dude, we can't show
That,
the clip
I
right
find
now.
that
Are you fucking
painful to
kidding me?
watch.
What,
That
Norm
clip has never been
destroying
released
hardware?
online, right?
It's just
Let's make that a stretch goal.
okay.
We're
It's
gonna
horrible
release
to
it-
watch.
We're gonna release the clip. It's a year ago.
It's like watching
And-
like
and
a,
Microsoft
it's like
knows about
watching
this already.
like a bad sports injury or something. You know, where you go, oh, you have to look away. It was painful to watch.
Yeah, it really was.
It was
hard.
hard.
It's
painful
basically
to do.
Norm was stress testing the hinge on the first
No,
surface.
in
Norm-
I
Norm-
wasn't even stressed. I was trying to prove how strong it was.
Well, that's the same thing, isn't it?
I was trying to say this is really strong, and as I was showing
Yeah.
how sturdy
You
it was,
managed to break it.
it popped.
And it
and that
made
was
this
unexpected.
sickening crunch crack type. You just know it's fucked.
That's
You're
how
like,
I
that's
felt.
it. Yeah.
My heart cracked when that happened.
Yeah.
And I said to Joey, "Oh shit!"
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and I said we shouldn't have been. It was a year ago, so I said it's because we've been doing all these push-ups
Oh, you,
last year's
because you don't know your own
Oktoberkast.
strength anymore.
We didn't know our own strength. Let's make it a stretch goal. Let's say.
Do you want me to tell you where we're at right now before you decide what stretch goals should be?
Oh, do we have some money already?
Holy shit, we have some money already.
Yeah, where are we at in terms of the charities?
Okay, so I'm reloading the crowd tilt pages. Doctors Without Borders has $2,059.17 already.
Wow.
We're 40 minutes in. That's amazing. Thank you guys so much.
That's pretty great.
Child's Play has $169.
Okay.
Should have started with Child's Play probably. And then Electronics Frontier Foundation is at I think $325. So somebody must have
So
made
Doctors Without Borders is the clear leader so far.
people like Doctors Without Borders. I don't know how many contributors we have to each one. It looks like I mean, and just to be clear, every donation is welcome, even a buck. Like there's a big thing on Kickstarter right now about how those buck donation rewards, the things that just let you put your name in the credits for a game or something like that.
Yeah, they add up.
Those add up really fast, and people are much more likely to say, "Okay, yeah, I'll give you $1 than even 10." So
Yeah.
Let's say when one of these charities hits $5,000,
$5,000, you'll roll that clip.
we'll roll the clip.
Does Joey have that clip? Is this a promise we can actually deliver
yes,
on?
because it's hidden on our YouTube.
Oh, huh?
Not
No,
rolling
no,
the clip
not
yet.
yet.
Absolutely not.
Not
Absolutely
yet.
not. When we hit $5,000
On one charity?
on one of the charities,
We will show you
We will
Norm
show-
fucking up a Microsoft
So,
Surface.
so you're favoring
doctors.
you're favoring Doctors Without Borders because people are going to start pumping money into that. Maybe it's $5,000 across all of them.
Okay.
Yeah,
We can do that.
and we'll just eyeball it. I'll keep an eye on
When
it.
we hit 5,000, when we reach 15,000, which is reasonable, that'd be
No.
great. 15,000 total.
5,000 total.
Oh, total. Okay,
Yeah, across all three.
okay,
Yeah,
okay,
add them all
okay,
up.
yeah, okay,
So we're at
that's-
3,000 right now. Let's just say we got 2,000 to go, and then you get to watch Norm destroy a Surface RT. I
The
have
last
it over
one.
there. Yeah,
Yeah.
I have it over there. I can go grab it and hold it up so you can see proof.
Oh, it's still here?
You know what
the
sucks?
corpse of it?
Well, I tried to find a replacement stump, but they
Hinge.
don't sell them. They don't sell the replacement hinge.
Because-
they don't sell the replacement parts.
Because as Panos Panay said in our meeting with him,
Yeah.
it's unbreakable. It's still unbreakable.
it's not true.
It's
That's
not true.
patently untrue.
No, it's
Madam,
contested.
God himself could not sink this ship. So if you felt like if you did the same thing on this one and gave it a good
Oh, yeah.
press down, this
That-
wouldn't break?
If you put all your if you like tripped and fell on it, it would pop.
No, but I mean,
would
just give
pop
it like
before
just
you
give it like
popped.
a reasonable amount of pressure.
Like it's I don't
Like
want, I don't-
harder than that.
I don't want to. I don't want to do this. Well, with the new Surface 2. What did change is that they added a second hinge angle. So before it was just this one,
Right.
which they made a big deal out of how this like 60-degree angle was like the perfect
That's the-
place
that's
to,
the
to
golden
type in
spot,
view,
yeah.
right? It turned out not so much, especially with
Oh,
the
so they
Surface
were wrong
Pro.
about that.
Yes, and what they did was they added a second angle, so it bends down lower. And this
that
one
looks better to me.
much better.
Yeah.
Not only like when I'm sitting down at a table, is it pointed more toward my eyes, but when I'm actually using this on a lap, like putting this on my lap, the weight, the center of gravity is lower,
Yeah.
so it's less wobbly.
Is Microsoft going to be able to turn this around and make the Surface into something?
I mean-
like, they lost $900 million on the last generation.
They
Well,
wrote it
that's
off,
nothing
yes.
compared to the Xbox One loss, the original Xbox One, not
Right,
the
and
new Xbox
Microsoft,
One.
like, so that, they have the luxury of being one of these companies that can just keep throwing money after
Yeah.
something. But eventually, like with the Zune, they do realize that they're just throwing good money after bad,
So-
and it's time to go. So I don't know what's going to happen here. Like, this is actually kind of analogous to the Zune, right? The first Zune and the first Surface were
They were
not
both dogs.
not great products,
Yeah.
and they were huge flops. On
The second
Zune, by the time the Zune 2 came around, it was actually a much better product that people liked.
You're thinking about
but-
Zune HD.
Whatever the most
That was the last one right before they
the point
killed
is they
it.
finally got it right because they kept throwing money
Yeah.
at it and kept trying. But by that point, it was too late.
MP3
and
players
it
were
was
gone.
it ended
They're
up being a big waste of
absolutely
time.
on that same path because their strategy for the Surface is a 3-year plan, 3-year increments.
It's really too bad that they couldn't just wait 3 years and release one that was good and have that
I
be
still
last year.
think like it seems like a good product to me. Like I wouldn't get the RT, I would get the Pro.
Yeah.
But it looks. I'm actually surprised that given the RT was the one that gave them all the grief, that for this they didn't ditch it on the second one and say, look, this is just the Pro now.
Because it was all part of the strategy. This too was in the works before RT launched, and I'm sure it's a 3-year plan. So the next year's was already in the works, and so what I think what's going to happen is first year and second year very similar. It's faster, a little thinner. Pro actually is the exact same size and weight. It just has Haswell and slightly longer battery life.
Yeah.
6 hours is the most people can get out of that.
Slightly
which is
shorter
bare-
battery life, you mean?
The Pro is slightly longer. 2 is longer than 1.
Oh, right. Okay.
Next year, I think they're going to have the smaller size tablet. They're going to have a
A 7-inch.
a 7-inch, and maybe something that's actually thinner and lighter for the Pro.
Here's the other thing that I really like about the second generation Surfaces is the touch covers and the type covers are both much more rigid. So, and I think it's in the hinge. The hinge is less flappy. So when you have it on your lap, you can actually type, and you couldn't do that before. So I mean, I gave a lot of shit to the first Surface. I did not think it was a very good product. I didn't think anyone should spend money on them. This one, I actually am interested in spending some time with to see how it works.
Not when they announced it.
Well, when they announced it, you know.
The other
you were on
idea,
Twitter.
the other thing they
I don't
brought
think
in-
I was on Twitter when they
The other
announced
thing
it.
You were
they
on
brought in
Twitter
this
when they
generation that
vacation.
I really liked
You
was
tweeted, "Oh, they released something
it was-
someone didn't want last year and made it faster and thinner."
Oh,
they didn't want
just to
this
be
year.
clear, addressing the problems with a device that didn't work and didn't have any apps by making it faster and thinner when it still has no apps, I don't think people should buy the RT. I don't think anyone should buy any RT devices, just to be 100% clear. That hasn't changed. You said it yourself. It only has one browser. That browser is IE, and there's
a
no
very
apps.
limited device.
Yeah, like don't spend your $600
But the
on
idea
anything
of a,
else,
the
and you'll
idea
be
of
happy.
a, essentially a
$600.
complete PC in that form factor is really
Yeah,
good.
the Pro's nice. It's just expensive. So
Yeah.
yeah.
But the other thing I saw, I don't know if it's a real thing yet, but I really like the idea that they released these custom keyboard blades. I saw the one that was like a DJ mixing desk.
So
That's really
that's
cool.
their big initiative, and I'm sure next year will be a big part of that.
Because
The Surface
theoretically, it could
3
be
launch.
anything, right? That would plug in. That it doesn't have to be just a QWERTY keyboard. You could make all kinds of stuff.
The touch cover that they have, the second generation one, has I think 1,000 different sensors inside it. So it's not like one sensor per key.
Right.
It's just evenly distributed. So even if
Right.
you hit partial keys,
So you can map
Oh.
anything to it.
and so they can screen print any design on
Yeah.
top. And I can imagine the DJ thing. I think that's like it's hip because a lot of the Surface marketing is like with dancing and DJs.
Yeah.
What's the overall market of DJs that are into weird accessories? Because like there are a lot of DJ specific weird
Every
accessories.
DJ has a Mac. That battle is over. Like they can
you think
release.
it's
I mean, it's a
done?
nice idea, but they're not going to get people to switch over.
But like I one of the things that we had talked about with Panos was like a Photoshop specific template. So
Right.
if you wanted to have a set of like buttons that you can hit your stylus with or your finger to change between tools in
Yeah.
Photoshop, there's no reason they couldn't make something.
You know what
like
would be
that.
rad, and there's a million reasons why this could never work. Like, it just would not commercially make any sense at all. But you know how you used to get like keyboard overlays for games in the old days? You used to
Yeah.
take like
Oh,
the
yeah.
cardboard layout and put it over your keyboard.
What was that keyboard that
You
did
could,
that?
if this thing was a viable gaming machine and the blades could be made cheaply enough, you could ship games that had custom blades that were designed just for that game, and you'd swap them in and out. And oh, this is my flight sim blade or whatever. It'd be cool.
Yeah,
But that would
or
never
for
happen.
video editing.
Yeah.
Because they're dedicated keyboards for video editing back in the old analog days.
Hey, before we have a couple minutes before Brad Shoemaker, our next guest, arrives, or our first guest. He's not our next guest; he's our first guest. Do you guys want to talk a little bit about your Oktoberfest prep strategy? Because I think we each took a different approach to it, and I'm interested to see where we're at
Okay.
at the end of hour one.
Sure.
Norm, what was your strategy?
In terms of sleep or food consumption?
Sleep and food, yeah.
Just the whole physical, the physiological.
We've got 7 minutes,
Right,
so think about it.
physiological preparation strategy leading into a 24-hour podcast. Since this is the third time we're doing it, had some experience.
You knew.
I knew.
Okay.
Was not to sleep a lot on Wednesday night.
Okay.
Deprive myself of sleep on Wednesday, so on Thursday, all Thursday, which I work from home, I would be tired, and so I could sleep early on Thursday night and have a full night, extended full night sleep on Thursday night, leading into today, Friday.
Did it work?
Yes, I feel refreshed, and I got a 9 hours sleep.
Oh, good for you.
That is pretty good. And what did you eat for breakfast this morning?
I had bacon and eggs and and avocado.
We did the same thing, except for no avocado. Gary, what was your strategy?
I didn't have much of a strategy. I didn't give it a lot of thought. And I didn't really have much opportunity. I've been very busy. I've been traveling around a lot. I haven't really been able to kind of, like stage my week the way if I wanted to plan it, I couldn't have done it anyway. And, any preparation you have to do is kind of based around the baby. The baby had been sleeping very well all week, so I thought it would be okay. But, of course, last night she decides to scream her head off all night. And neither myself nor my wife got much sleep. So I would have liked to have my strategy was just hopefully get a good night's sleep the night before. That didn't happen. I got a few hours of sleep, but not anywhere near as much as ideally I would have liked.
Do you guys have coffee today?
I'm drinking coffee right now.
We had breakfast. I had corned beef hash and eggs, and toast and jam, and a nice hot cup of coffee.
I didn't want to have carbs this morning.
Well, I just had some toast. I wanted to get
just some hash
pancakes, but Will
browns.
talked me out of it because that would definitely come back and get you.
Yeah, you don't want to get.
I
Logan.
do. I am planning to dip into this through the
This
day
podcast is brought to you by Count Chocula.
by Count Chocula, and
Do you-
I guess it's General Mills.
Do you like the
cereals.
Count better than Frankenberry? I like the Frankenberry
Well,
as a child. But
I
haven't
feel like
had-
Count's the original.
Okay.
What I've noticed, I don't know if this is the case, but it used to be just Count Chocula, Frankenberry, and Booberry, right? When I went to Target the other day, they had like 8 different kinds. They had a werewolf one, they had a mummy. It was like I don't know if those have always been around. I just hadn't noticed, or if they've decided to kind of extend the brand. But there's like 8 different kinds of, spooky Halloween cereals now. But for my money, Count Chocula is really the only one. Some people, I guess, prefer Booberry or Frankenberry.
So folks in the chat are saying that CrowdTilt will accept international credit cards, but there's some question about whether you can actually sign up without a U.S. zip code. So we'll keep you posted as details emerge.
Okay.
In this
Like I
breaking
said,
situation.
send me the money,
That's a terrible idea.
and
Don't do
I
that.
will make sure that it gets to the appropriate people.
Absolutely do not send Gary the money. Send it to me. And I'll give it to Gary. He'll take it to Vegas, put it on black, double
it.
everything, maybe more.
And I'll take a small commission,
Right.
and the rest will go to all the needy charities.
What's the
And
most
basically,
times-
everybody wins.
If you put it all on black, how many times do you let it ride at most?
Don't let it ride.
You don't let it ride?
no,
wouldn't
you
say
just go one time.
Yeah, you
it's
just-
one spin.
Yeah.
Wasn't there a South Park where they did that? Where they got in deep with the Native American casino in their neighborhood?
I don't remember.
Seems familiar.
Should we tease also what's going to happen? I mean, aside from guests,
We've got crazy
events
stuff. Yeah.
that we're planning for this 24
Well,
hours.
Gary already said he's eating Count Chocula.
I'm going to
That's
eat some
pretty
Count
hot.
Chocula. That is
hot
pretty.
mess.
I don't think you're going to have a hard time topping that.
We have starting at midnight, maybe even starting at 11. The most interesting man on the show contest starts. Drew Scanlon and Alexis Gajasar are coming by from Giant Bomb. Following them, Phil Broughton, Funranium on Twitter, the man who makes Black Butt of the Earth, is making a personal delivery.
that.
Ah.
He has been to. I think I could be wrong. He's the only person we know that's been to Antarctica. And he lived there at McMurdo.
Right, and Drew's been to North
multiple
Korea.
times. Drew's been to North Korea and Iceland. So
I've
we have both poles and 1/3
haven't
of the
been
axis of
anywhere
evil
exciting.
covered.
you, you say it like you're so
Hey,
disappointed.
you've had pea soup at Anderson's though, right?
Yeah,
That's
that's about as
pretty
far
good.
as I've gone. That's
Yeah.
the most exotic place I've ever been to. It's a restaurant with a windmill.
After Phil
On the freeway.
or maybe even while Phil's still here at 2, Patrick Norton is scheduled to come in and do
Patrick
his
is.
late
I
shift.
maintain that he is
He
the
is,
most
yes.
the most interesting,
Yes.
most erudite, most urbane man I've ever met.
I just like to pick random skills and ask Patrick about him. He was like, "Oh yeah, I used to do that."
Okay, so aside from guests, events.
Oh, events. Let's see. We're gonna do a Lego build off in the wee hours of the
Yeah,
morning.
we have
a
we have
very
an interesting spin on it.
Do you want to tease that? We're not gonna do a race.
Not going to do a race.
This is
it's
an
gonna
aesthetic.
be a
Is
creativity.
it down there? The set, is it
It's on
down
the
there?
floor underneath Norm.
Should we announce it right
Let's
now?
save it. We got plenty of time to kill,
All right.
guys. Let's not blow our load in the first hour.
Now, there had been a lot of talk about hot peppers.
Yeah.
What's
I
that-
thought
but
you were
what-
since you were talking about it, I figured you'd get them. But what we're gonna do is when we get near the end, we'll get some aggressive stretch goals for the campaign to last through the week, maybe even to the next week.
I don't think it's worth it if the hot peppers are not consumed on camera
feel
during
like-
Oktobercast.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
I agree.
Well, we don't have the hot peppers, so that's not going to happen.
But the thing is, Will won't do. Well,
I'm not
we could
do-
easily procure them.
I
but you
can't do
won't
hot
do
peppers
it.
on. I can't.
Even
do
though
them.
when I did my review on Hot Pepper Gaming, you were even trolling me then, going, "Oh, is it just a habanero you're eating?"
So
Whereas you won't even you won't even touch it.
we have. This is a marathon, man, not a sprint.
I told you, after 20 minutes, I was totally fine.
That's great. Everybody's affected differently. I know how I react to
I've
peppers.
already done it, so I don't feel like I have anything to prove.
Well, we'll get a hotter pepper for you. So what the deal is, we're going to do stretch goals. Next Friday, we'll do another live show. Maybe at
We
the
can't
end
do it
of,
next Friday.
Okay. So at the end of the contribution, which is on November 15th, we'll have another live stream when we find out if we made the stretch goals in the archival phase of Oktoberkast. And yeah, that's it.
So
So
no hot peppers.
no
will be
hot peppers
consumed
today.
Today.
Mainly because we don't have any here, but also because I'm not doing that on camera.
I think mainly.
I would do it in like the last 10 minutes of the show,
I'd
but
say
at
last
that
half
point it's
hour.
no fun.
No, absolutely, it's fun because that's when you're.
Well, then we
most-
take away from the guests that come in for the big finish and all that. It's not a good time. We could even do it after the show if we wanted, but I don't think anybody wants to hang
I
out
bet you
after
Jeff
the
Green would
show.
do a hot pepper.
I know he'd do a hot pepper. He
Because
wants
he'll
his,
basically do anything.
he wants his skull turned into a bong. Jeff Green is going to be here, by the way. He's coming at I think 9 o'clock tomorrow. Adam Savage is going to be here
Okay,
at 8 a.m.
instead of talking about guests, I didn't say events, not guests, because we don't want to spoil the schedule. Events. We're also
I'm
doing
fine
an
spoiling the schedule.
Oculus challenge.
Ooh,
Yeah, so
yes,
you're
I
doing
like
an
anything
endurance
Oculus
challenge.
related.
This is a trial by Oculus.
Yeah.
So Norm has graciously volunteered to sit in the Oculus.
In the most uncomfortable chair in the office.
It's the smallest one. So
This is the Oculus chair over here?
It's such a
Okay.
sad chair.
Yeah, that looks grim.
Norm is going to put on the Oculus. We have a steering wheel and pedals here, and he's going to drive in Euro Truck Sim 2002.
And it works with
I
Oculus?
tested it out yesterday. It worked great.
Okay.
You can turn your head in the cab. You can hang out and back up. You have to back up the truck.
Only
You
one
can't-
game?
Isn't that really boring, Euro Truck Simulator?
I think it fits
Isn't it like
it's
one
No,
of
the
those
point is
farming-
to play the other
It's
all
like
the
one of
other
those
games.
fastidiously
Yeah.
accurate simulations that the European developers do. Where it's
It is-
there's one where you just have to drive around the streets of Berlin with like the
Streetcars.
the garbage.
Oh, garbage truck
You know,
simulator.
you know the truck with the little brushes that
Yeah,
cleans
street
the
sweeper.
Yeah, street sweeper.
Yeah, there's a farming simulator. None
Yeah.
of those are Oculus enabled. Maybe
Yeah.
next year
It's
we'll
like
have a
Desert Bus. It's like the whole point. It's so boring
Norm-
that you actually kind of go through like a 2001 kaleidoscope
I
of
want
madness.
Norm to see God through
Yeah.
the eyes of
I
Euro
will
Truck
play
Sim 2.
Euro Truck Sim 2, play a bunch of different games that support Oculus, but the idea is you play Oculus.
The only thing that's
Non-stop.
installed is Euro Truck Sim 2 and then a
I'll
bunch of
install
Oculus
horror
is a
games.
weird
I'll
thing
install
to
a
do
bunch
as
of
a
horror games.
spectator sport because obviously it doesn't translate.
We're going to keep talking to Patrick while Norm's doing that. This is so he
Okay.
doesn't fall asleep at 2 a.m. like he usually
Okay,
does.
so does he have a specific mission and does he have to deliver a load?
I'm going to let him pick a starting city. Wow. This is what you guys are getting. We do not have a specific mission as of right now.
The
well, I
idea
feel
is
like there should be something that
straight up
otherwise how do
endurance.
we know if he just have to
So we'll
survive it?
We'll start in Ireland, make him drive across a ferry to England, drive through England, and then get to Italy.
I've always wanted.
I don't even know if you can
That's,
go to
that's
these
a
places.
long haul.
It's a 4-hour
It's
stretch.
it's condensed in the game.
Yeah.
It's not really that difficult.
So Norm's going to do that. He has, I think, we have 4 hours blocked for that. But the way it's going to work is
4 hours of non-stop excitement.
So you haven't heard? The challenge is 3 hours is the goal. I need to do 3 hours to meet the challenge, and people will
Is it
pledge.
like 3 constant
no,
hours?
2 hours was the goal.
Okay, 2 hours
Yeah.
is the goal. Any minute after 2 hours, so I need to hit that floor. Once I hit 2 hours, people who pledge every minute they have to donate $1. So if you're pledging for me to do this, to do the Oculus challenge, trial by Oculus, whether it's the driving simulator or whatever other game, the recommended Oculus playing time is half an hour at most right now. My eyes could fall out at the end of this.
I've gone 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah, I mean, just Oculus is not right now. The Oculus kit, as great as it is not well suited for like really long gaming
No,
sessions.
you're not supposed to. You will get nauseous. We'll have hopefully a barf bag over there. But actively playing a game, so not like idling, actively playing for 2 hours, every minute after 2 hours, that's when we start making money. It's like that terrible Ryan Seacrest reality show, the $1 Million Minute or
I don't
million
know.
second challenge or whatever it is.
I don't know what that is. I don't
I'm gonna
watch
be in the,
TV.
I'm gonna be in the hot seat, and every minute after 2 hours, money starts rolling in. Theoretically,
Okay.
theoretically.
I would hope so.
Theoretically. Hey, Brad's here. I turned you on, Brad, Joey. Sorry about that. Hey, Brad, come on in.
Wow, first guest.
First guest, Brad Shoemaker, ladies
Right
and
on,
gentlemen.
right on time. 1 p.m.
We're going to turn your mic on, put on your headphones there. They should look familiar to you.
They certainly do. It's almost like I've worn them before.
Your microphone's on. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Brad Shoemaker. He's
Hi.
sitting directly to my right.
Hello.
Brad, people may know you from such websites as giantbomb.com.
Yes.
GameSpot.com.
In a former life, yeah.
Batman.com.
I don't think that's up anymore.
Oh, it's gone now, I bet. Yeah, okay.
By the way, I really pissed off the chat by saying that Euro Truck Simulator is boring.
It is.
Maybe it's not.
Have you ever played it?
No,
It's
to,
really
to,
good.
to be fair, I said that based purely on just a prejudiced guess of what that
No,
kind
it's-
of game
Know
is.
your audience, Gary Witta.
Gary,
But those farming German street sweeper type hardcore simulations are known for being. Isn't it just one of those?
Manual labor
Gary,
simulation.
yeah.
these hot peppers, can you buy them at any grocery store?
Yeah, they're like 25 cents each.
I'm gonna have Wes buy some.
get
some
some
hot
get some
peppers.
habaneros.
habanero.
You don't want to
God.
go too hot.
Yep.
Wes, if you're watching
Habanero
this,
is a good baseline.
any color? What color?
I think Wes is in chat right
The
now.
habaneros are generally
They're
orange
orange.
in color.
Yeah, like a bright orange. So wait, I'm coming in the middle here. Have you guys talked about your experience already?
On
No,
hot
no, we
pepper
haven't
games.
talked about
No,
how
we,
hot
we can talk about it though.
Okay.
So, but
He made it look easy.
Wes, if you're watching this, bring the milk, the whipped
Bring
cream,
full fat whole milk and hot peppers
and
This is
and,
great
uh, and
content,
whipped cream.
guys.
Whipped cream.
and also no, you don't need whipped cream. But
Yeah, you do need whipped cream.
Whipped cream is the best thing.
This
for
is
hot
something else I
peppers.
learned from Hot Pepper Gaming, because they know what they know their shit over there. Is Tums. Get some Tums, because they do
you
help.
preload that?
No, you take it afterwards.
Oh, I was thinking about coating with Pepto Bismol on the way down.
But the number one key is simply whole milk, full fat milk. That
You know the secret with the whipped cream, right? If you get aerosol whipped cream,
Yeah.
you turn your head back, put it in your mouth.
what do you do, whippets?
No, dude, you're not. That's when you. This is for the kids, by the way. That's when you have it upside. When you don't squirt the whipped cream out. When you want to get whipped cream out, you hold it upside down. You put it in your mouth, and it fills every surface of your mouth.
It's like maximum surface area.
It's-
That got affected with the hot pepper.
It's like a
Fat.
it's like an airbag going off in your
Yeah,
mouth.
exactly, and it totally it gets in all the crevasses so that any little bits of hot go away.
Yeah. Well, I found that. I mean, we can talk about my Hot Pepper Gaming experience. I did find that just taking a good glug of whole milk and just swishing it around.
Gargling.
Yeah, I mean, it takes 70-80% off it immediately.
Yeah.
It's immediate relief.
But you don't get that until you've made it through your review, right?
No, you're not supposed to take it until. Well, I was in such a state of delirium that I forgot the milk was even there.
It does. I mean, in all seriousness, it does induce like an adrenaline response.
Yeah, the milk is sitting off camera, and I was like, I'd done the review. I said that this is the review, blah blah blah. And Vernon, the guy that runs Hot Pepper Gaming behind the camera, is going like, "You can have the milk now." And I'm like, "Oh shit, I can have the milk." And so
that was really funny.
And I instantly felt much better.
So-
and people that said that the real price is to be paid the next day, I didn't find that to be the case either.
I have that with spicy food.
Yeah, but you have no tolerance for spicy food, right?
I like a medium high level of spice, but once you get into like the painful, like habanero and beyond is where I usually draw the line.
So I think that you should do a habanero.
I don't like a ghost pepper would probably put me in the hospital. I've had jalapenos
No,
before.
even I wouldn't do a ghost pepper. 'Cause that's serious business.
I've
How
had
many hot peppers?
jalapenos before.
6?
just
he
get
just
like
said-
get like half a dozen.
Yeah, tell him not to touch his eyes after he picks them up at the
They're only
grocery
like
store.
they're only like literally like 25
All
cents a pepper.
I'm going to extend the Oculus challenge. If I get the 3
Could
hours,
you do a hot pepper
I'm gonna do it-
and do the Rift?
So I'm gonna 2 hours of Rift every
I think
minute.
we will actually need EMTs.
Every
standing
minute
by.
after
This is a
2
bad
hours.
idea.
Can you actually injure yourself
With a pepper?
with capsaicin?
I think so.
I think
probably.
so. I watched some videos of people kind of going over.
Why
By
do you
the way,
psych yourself out?
You'd probably
no, this was
have a heart attack.
after the fact. And I was watching ghost pepper videos, and people are eating too many ghost peppers. I mean, they are seriously debilitated.
The best one is the one where the guy in the Eeyore suit walks over
The
and
guy,
kicks the guy in the
guy
balls
that eats
afterwards.
the ghost pepper and then the guy in the donkey suit kicks him in the balls
the
is
greatest
perhaps
thing
my
I've ever
all-time
seen.
favorite video on
horrifying.
YouTube.
It's the best video I've ever seen on the internet. It's like everything I want in a YouTube
At
video.
the 3 hour mark for Oculus, trial by Oculus, after 60 minutes of raising money for how many people want to pledge, that's when I will do the hot pepper. And that's when you said, if I have the hot pepper on the show, on Oktoberkast, you would
I would donate.
donate $500.
Yes, and especially if you do it while you're
I
playing
will do
the
it
Rift.
while on the Rift as the finale. I will throw off the Rift to put the drink the milk as the way
Yeah.
to end the challenge.
Well, Gary was polite and thoughtful enough to volunteer my services to Hot Pepper
No, I
Gaming.
didn't
So-
volunteer them. I just said that I would like to see. I think you'd be a good candidate for
Well,
it.
then
That's called egging.
they responded and
Oh, they
said,
did?
said yeah, they said they.
So are you going to do it?
I have not followed up with them, and I don't intend to.
But you retweeted my tweet, which
Yeah.
I took as like a kind of endorsement. of it.
I was a little 50-50 on
Don't
it.
you have a thing on your Twitter that says retweets do not indicate endorsement?
Probably should.
How are
This should
you-
totally cover you
Probably
here.
should.
How are you with hot?
I
food
like
peppers?
spicy food for sure.
So
but,
you could probably be. Okay.
but I also ate part of a raw habanero one time and wanted to die. So
I gotta say the habanero. I actually think, not to brag or anything, but I think I did pretty good, and I think I actually could have done. If I were ever to go back, I would go hotter. I'd probably do like a Scotch
Really?
bonnet or something.
Holy
yeah.
crap.
Because it was. I think what had happened was I'd psyched myself up for it so much, and again the guys that run it were saying like, yeah, you're going to be very unhappy for like 20 minutes, and it was like this doesn't sound. I felt like he was like trying to, ease me into it, but it was going to be worse than I expected. So I was dreading it right and up until the very last second. And I even made it worse for myself because the other tip they give you was like, make sure they give you a bunch of tips. One thing is it's like, make sure you get it all the way down to the stalk. Because if you leave anything, which I did, I left a little bit left. They said, if you leave anything, you're going to get shit in the YouTube comments for not eating the whole thing, which duly then happened because I didn't eat the whole thing.
You got to eat.
And the other thing
You
is,
got to get it right. The best thing to do is what you're supposed to do is take one that doesn't have a stalk on it, and then you can just pop the whole thing in your mouth, and then there's no question.
How long did you chew?
Well, so that's the other thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
They say the other tip is once you get it, Just get it down as quickly as possible.
Don't let the...
Don't, you're going to have to chew it a little bit to get it down, but like just get it down your throat. The longer you leave it, depositing its evil seeds in
the
your
seeds
mouth.
in the ribs are where the heart
Yeah,
lives.
just get it down quickly. And I totally forgot that because I just, you get nervous and you forget yourself. So I put it in my mouth. I was chewing it, and then I started reviewing the game. And Vernon behind the camera was going, swallow it. And I was like, oh shit. And so I left it in my mouth for way too long. So, but it wasn't that bad. It was, it was not, it is definitely hot. And what happened with me is I got a particular case of like, this had never happened apparently, but I got really bad hiccups.
Oh, that
was pretty
that's
great.
what that's what threw me off more than anything else.
That doesn't typically happen to you, though?
No, I don't usually. I usually have a pretty high tolerance for spicy
That's
food.
kind of my trademark is hiccups after spicy food. That happens.
Yeah, but
every
this
time.
was like I was hiccuping like once every. They had a hiccup counter on me. I think I hiccuped like 20 times in 3 minutes.
So
I totally get that.
What are you supposed to have beforehand? For
in terms of preparation, nothing.
To
You just
line
do
your
it.
stomach. Like,
No.
are you supposed to
Before you go to
before
Mexico-
training-
There's nothing. You don't take anything ahead of time.
Like, do you need
just
a lot
do
of
it.
bread?
You could
What's-
Pepto and coat that stuff
Some
up, I would
people
think.
will also eat bread afterwards, but really, the glass of milk is the magic bullet. If you just have a glass of whole milk, you're all good. That's all you need.
Do you feel it burning your innards? Does it like?
You don't feel you don't feel like the esophageal
or in the stomach?
burn. It's all right
Just up here. Okay.
And it is, it's not pleasant at
Sure.
all. It's way more, and it sticks around.
Doesn't it
too.
make you feel alive though?
You do feel alive. You do feel
looking for
alive. It's you think like. You think over
That's a
subsequent
masochist.
minutes it would dissipate, but it doesn't. It's a constant burn right up until the point where you can drink the milk, and then it really is like when you see someone put out a fire with a fire extinguisher, it just goes out instantly. That's kind of the experience. Like you're still aware of the fact that you ate something spicy, but it's like moderate as opposed to oh my god, this is miserable. So it was a good experience. I enjoyed myself.
Cool.
And people, it was a cool thing to be a part of. It's just like everyone's lining up to. Vernon, the guy that runs it. They're actually making. It's actually a little business enterprise. They're getting enough hits now that they make some money off of it.
Where do they shoot out of?
Just like out of his apartment in LA.
Oh, in LA. Okay, so
Yeah.
there's my deniability then. Like I'm not in LA very often.
Oh, but
so.
next E3 or
Yeah,
surely.
just do it at E3. It's perfect. Everybody wins.
All right.
But people are lining up to do it now. Kid Rock said he wanted to do one. Was it Kid Rock or no? It was Andrew WK,
Oh, okay,
Okay.
that makes more sense.
which is very believable.
He's down to party.
Yeah.
I understand.
And they've started opening up to like promotional opportunities now. Developers will go on there and try to pitch you on their game while eating a hot pepper.
Oh, maybe I should.
I learned a lot
get in on
about
that.
the monetization of YouTube videos from those guys because that's what Vernon, his day job is like. I think he works in like the YouTube,
Oh, this is
the
just
economics
a
of
side,
YouTube.
This is
This
a side
is
gig for him.
just a side project. And I'm
Probably-
saying like those guys that do like Let's Play videos, the guys that have millions and millions of views like PewDiePie and those characters, they're making like quit your job money.
Oh, yeah,
off of
totally.
this. I had no
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah, it's a huge
I
amount of
said-
money.
I was saying to these guys like those guys that do like Let's Play and have like 2 million subscribers over like that's pocket money, but it's not like quit your job money. Like, oh yes, it is. Like it's serious money.
Yep.
Yeah, no, it's real money.
I had no idea.
YouTube money.
But it is a job. It's not quit your job and like live fancy free.
No,
it's
it's
quit
not
your
it's
job
quit
to
your
do
job.
this other
it's
job.
have this becomes your job.
Like, I know guys
because those
who-
guys are putting up constant
Yeah,
content.
I know guys who live off of that, but they all say that it's a 7-day-a-week job. You know,
Right.
like you're doing it all the time.
Right.
So,
But it's real money.
but it absolutely.
And
is
they
a
were
lot
saying that
of
the other
money.
thing is the economics of it, the way that you're paid is not on how many clicks, but how long people watch your video for.
Oh, you mean
Yeah,
engagement?
the more ads that people watch, the more
you're actually incentivized. I guess it's a good thing. You're incentivized to actually create content that people stick around and watch.
Oh yeah. So Brad,
Hi,
how you doing, man?
I'm okay.
Welcome to the show.
Friday, yeah. Glad to be here at the top.
Yeah, you're our first
Yeah.
guest.
Caught you guys fresh.
You came in late last year, as I recall. It was like 8, maybe 9.
No, I came at like 7 a.m. last year.
Oh, that's right, because
It
you
was
were here
awesome.
with Jeff last year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It was awesome. I woke up and went to the dim sum bakery and brought pork buns, and you guys were
So you're doing that this year too,
You
right?
guys
Oh
were
yeah,
flagging.
you came in on the tail end last year.
you
right?
guys were flagging at 7 a.m.
You're getting the better end of the deal because we're all like we're still
Yeah.
excited.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not excited.
Bright-eyed.
But, we're optimistic.
You
Well,
seem pretty excited.
I'm not optimistic.
You're talking really fast.
We at least
You
have
got
a
energy.
we have a full tank of gas
Yeah.
right now.
Well,
Whereas you've seen the difference.
last year, what time did you guys start? It was like 7 p.m.
6 p.m.
Yeah,
Gary
like
and
that
I wanted
was-
to
that
start
was
at
a
6
big-
p.m.
that was
Yeah.
a big mistake.
I don't know. Will says we.
I
started
went back
6
and
p.m.
reviewed the clip. It was unequivocal that you guys wanted to start at 6 and I wanted to start at noon.
Really?
Yes.
I would need to see the tape.
What possible? What? What is that?
It's a special
gift for you.
gift. All our
Is
guests.
this one of the?
Oh, man.
This is one of the.
Get an
Wow.
Get
exclusive.
one of the good ones.
Oh,
There's
thank
some.
you.
There's some
All
that
good
are
ones.
aired. No, they know. So Eric, Young Frey from Tested made a handful of these awesome copper etched. They're the old Tested logo testicles, and they're refrigerator magnets.
Oh, that's awesome.
So
Wow,
don't
thank
lick
you.
it because copper compounds are generally poisonous.
Here,
smell
So-
it.
show the camera again.
and we can show the
Wow,
camera. Look,
that's
it's right
super
here.
cool.
It's going to be small, but there you go. That
We've already got a $5 a minute pledge for your Oculus challenge.
Yeah.
$5 a minute. That's great. That's if you make it 2 hours beyond the 2 hour mark.
I'm only making 1 hour. That's all we're
You'll,
talking.
no, we can go as 4 hours
okay.
if you want.
All right.
Yeah,
Even better.
I mean, I'll completely cancel Oculus Horror if you're making
it's
if you're
raising
making
money.
$5 a minute.
Yeah.
Oculus Horror.
I
is
do
done.
want to see
We'll
some
do it as a live
Oculus.
stream
Who,
later.
who are we going to have do Oculus Horror though?
So Patrick Klepek, who may or may not be skyping in, I'm not sure, helped curate what he found to be the scariest Oculus games.
Yeah, he sent me a
I'll
list
play those
because
games.
we've been playing some Oculus
Yeah.
Horror games at home.
Yeah,
well,
so-
I haven't. But
Yeah, no, Oculus Horror is
I
too
won't-
scary for me,
I
but
won't
I'm going to do it.
I will not do it.
I'm put on the headphones.
Yeah. Dreadhalls?
Scary stuff.
I think
there.
Dreadhalls is still considered the scariest, right?
Dreadhalls, he said, was, oh my god, I pooped my pants.
Never played
Scary.
any of these games.
Yeah.
No,
I
these-
will
I
never,
haven't seen
I
any
will
of them.
never ever play these games.
So what's going on in the world of Giant Bomb and Brad Shoemaker?
I think we're increasingly
Is he
thinking
bringing some milk as well?
more and more about new video game consoles.
Oh yeah, that's
At this
soon,
point.
right?
Yeah.
I forgot that this was a new video game console year. Who would have thought
Yeah,
that?
right?
Whoa,
It's right around the
There-
corner,
there are
right?
machines
The-
coming out. Yeah, dude.
3
the-
Which is the
right?
first one?
Three weeks from
PS4's
today is the
PS4's the
PS4.
first one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 3 weeks from today.
Yeah. So,
So, what's your have you
not-
pre-ordered both?
no, I didn't
So,
pre-order
so
either one.
Xbox One is a month from today, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Because it's a
4
week
weeks.
behind.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
right. No, I didn't pre-order either one. I mean, I'm in the privileged position of having access to them in my workplace.
Which
Yeah, so
one
you
of
don't have
which one
to.
of the two are you more excited about right now?
I can't answer that question.
Why not?
Well, so we haven't. The thing I'm most interested in about these new machines is not the games that are coming out, but
Yeah.
like the infrastructure, the services, the UI, like how all the nuts and bolts are fitted together. You know what I mean? Just seeing the dashboard, seeing how the account level stuff works. Like,
all the like the mechanics
yeah.
of this thing you're going to be using for the next 10 years.
Because, barring like a few platform exclusives from the first parties, like you're basically going to have access to the same games on both machines. So that's kind of the point where you figure out like which one of these do I enjoy using more. You know?
Well,
Yeah.
so once you get beyond the games, this actually is a case this year where what the two machines are offering is, I mean, Xbox One is offering a more holistic
Sure.
TV, everything integrated type experience. PS4 is so based on, given the fact that they're offering overall quite different approaches. Do you find yourself gravitating more towards one approach than the other?
Not really, but only because I don't care about the entertainment aspect of the Xbox. I mean, I've got my Netflix and video on demand needs kind of sorted out already, so that's not really a factor for me. So it's really just how they handle the video game stuff.
I am going to try plugging my cable TV through it to see how
Yeah.
the TV experience
Yeah,
works.
if you have cable TV, you'd be crazy not to at least try it.
I'm going to give
But,
it a try.
Yeah, but I mean, for me, it's more down to like which controller do I like better, which one handles friends lists and invites better, and stuff like that. Just real basic stuff.
I've always been an Xbox
Yeah.
person, but this year I feel myself slightly more pulled towards the PlayStation.
Yeah, I was going down the feature list of the PS4 that they put out a thing today, like they're going to have a big day one firmware update.
Right.
That a lot of the functionality is not going to be there on day one, like
Right.
the suspend feature, the go to sleep stuff.
Yeah.
not there.
That's one of the big
This
features.
is like
that
one of
they
the big
sold, right?
things that they announced the first time that they talked about the console. So
Yeah.
some of that stuff's not going to be there, but everything that is going to be there, that sounds like they know what they're doing this time. Like you can allow multiple people to sign into the same console and all get their own trophies, and like the invite stuff seems like it's a lot better. So
Not that it matters, because people always like to obsess about the strength of the launch lineups. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. Like, do we even remember what the launch lineups were? Like, over time, it doesn't
like
matter.
only in the context of like look how simple and kind of crappy those games were.
And it's certainly not a factor in which console ends up being more successful.
No,
but
definitely.
having said that, I wish I were more excited about the games that are available at launch.
Yeah, PS4 has really suffered, as the games have been delayed.
So Watch Dogs was a big
pushed
loss
back.
to both systems, right? Because that was
yeah,
multi-platform.
yeah, but since there are fewer platform exclusives on the PS4, that was that one was carrying more of the load on that side.
Yeah, I mean, like you're looking at Dead Rising kind of filling the gap for AAA big open world game.
Like I'm not necessarily super excited about any of the Xbox exclusives. Like I hope Dead Rising is good because I like those games, but they at least have more games. They got Killer Instinct, Forza, Dead Rising, like Rise, I guess if you're into that.
And what's your take on Resolution Gate?
I don't
The big
care.
story of
I
this
don't
past 7
have
days.
it in me to care.
Do you think
Like,
it's a storm in a teacup?
It's not going to make any kind of market difference. Like the mainstream that's out there buying games in bulk. like could not care less about that
It's
stuff.
it's like calculating teraflops and nonsense like that. None of
Do you,
that stuff
do you
matters.
think at the end of the day, 2 years from now, when Digital Foundry is doing its, pixel comparisons on multi-platform titles, that it's going to be the same thing as this year? Was like there's
I
really
don't-
almost nothing in it.
It's hard to say. I don't know. I mean,
Because everything that I've been reading, and there's a lot of nonsense out there, but it does sound like there is a case built into the PlayStation 4 is somewhat more powerful.
it is. I mean, the
ultimately
GPU, like
than
by
Xbox
the
One.
numbers, the GPU in that thing is more capable. But then there are people out there, and I'm not a developer, but there's a lot of scuttlebutt out there saying like, oh, developers haven't really mastered the ES RAM, that cache in the Xbox One yet, and that'll close the gap to some extent. Like, who knows? It's too early to say on that stuff. But I did.
But this is all we have to do, right?
guess
until
so,
until the systems come out,
And then
we
a
have to
week-
fill the void with all this
and then a week
speculation.
after they come out, it's going to be right back to the same thing because there are so few games.
I'm
on
excited.
both
I got
sides.
both of them on day one order,
yeah.
and I will.
Are you going to cancel one at the very end?
What, you mean one of the two
Yeah,
systems?
one of the two systems.
No, I'm going to get both.
You're going to get both, oh.
Yeah, because I like
You'll
to
get them
be-
eventually.
I like to be able to speak from a position of
Yeah.
knowledge on these things. And you're right. The first 2 days, I'm probably going to do what you do, just navigate the dashboard.
Right, like download every demo.
I
on
don't
the
even. I
service
don't even
and-
have I don't even know what day one Xbox One game I would buy.
Yeah.
I think I've got Killzone coming with the PlayStation because it was a bundle, and that looks good. I guess
It's okay. I played about 30 minutes of it last week. Me and Jeff went down to Sony
Yeah.
and checked out some of the launch lineups. So,
Yeah.
I put some time on Killzone. Like it's a fine Killzone game from what I've seen.
At least the PlayStation also has the PlayStation Plus games that you're going to get
Yeah,
free on
that's
day
a
one.
huge deal in terms of like value add.
So it's that kind of side-scrolling shmup thing. is one of
Resogun,
them?
which is,
Resogun?
it's actually Defender.
Oh, it's Defender.
Yeah.
Okay,
They,
so
they made a particle effects heavy Defender.
it's from the same people that made
Super Stardust.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So as that is to Asteroids, this is to
Yes,
Defender.
absolutely.
Okay. That makes sense.
So there's that, and Contrast is the game that replaced Drive Club.
I played that at E3. It looked.
yeah.
That was
Is
was
it-
the game I used to play to test the PS4
Oh, yeah.
controller, and it was really good. So it's a 3D. It's kind of like a modern, post Mario 64 3D world that your power is to become a shadow. So you can traverse the shadows to climb up out of the 3D world into other places to gain access to places in the 3D world that you can't. So you pop into the shadows, you literally use the shadows as platforming elements, and then can pop back out into the 3D world when you get to where you're going. It was a cool kind of puzzle platformer thing. I'd never seen anything like that before.
Speaking of the controller, did you guys see it's on sale?
Oh,
the
really, already?
The DS4 controller
GameStop
is out, right?
started selling
Yeah,
DualShock 4s.
a couple of
yesterday.
people already that pre-ordered and got them.
Will-
Yeah,
will
we
it
have,
work?
We have some in the office. So the
it work on
functionality,
PC?
the functionality is nowhere near robust enough to be like if you're not already getting a PS4 and you don't want a second controller, don't go out and get one of
Like
these.
you're better off getting an Xbox 360 or PS3 controller.
It works on the PC to some extent. Like Windows will recognize the inputs, but it
Yeah.
doesn't map to games.
What's the
until,
deal with the little light in the
until
front? What does that do?
I think it changes colors based on which player you are.
Oh,
so-
okay.
And I think the camera will pick it up.
Okay.
So the camera looks at it,
Except that the camera is no longer included with the system. So
and it's a new camera, right? It's not
It
the
is.
PS2.
there is
PS3
a
camera.
PlayStation 4i.
yeah,
So it's I think that's one of those things that they can use to tell which player is which.
I think that's the case.
Have
yeah.
they completely abandoned Move at this point, or is that going to go forward into the PS4 generation?
They showed off that Media Molecule tech demo with it at the unveil of the system.
Is that the
Yeah.
puppet thing?
Yeah, I think it was the sculpting thing, right?
Oh,
It was
right.
thing where
The
you could-
puppet thing is coming out for PS3, right? Puppeteer. Maybe
Puppeteer
it's
came
already
out. That
Yeah.
came out a few weeks ago.
Okay.
So it'll be compatible. It'll be there, but I don't know what they're gonna do with
I
it.
gotta say, I'm excited about these consoles, but not to get all PC master race on everyone. As someone who has had got my PC, which is a pretty beefy PC, running downstairs on my TV. I have Steam Big Picture mode. Everyone's like, oh, it's gonna be so exciting when these new consoles come out to play games in 1080p at 60 frames a second. Yeah, I've been doing that for a while.
for a long time.
Yeah.
But also, we saw Knack and Killzone and stuff at Sony last week. Like those games are not running anywhere near 60 frames a second.
Right.
So. Like
And some of them aren't running in 1080p.
Yeah, right. So
How is that even possible?
you got me, man.
What, like,
I don't know. I mean, they're new machines. Developers have been like developing against a moving target. Like most people making games for these consoles probably only got final hardware in their office like a month or two ago, right?
well, that's probably true.
That
I mean,
stuff-
I know that even as like recently as Comic-Con, all of the demos that were Xbox One demos were running on dev kits, except for maybe one or two.
Right.
So yeah.
So I mean, that stuff will always get better over time.
What's the advertising like for 360?
I haven't
You
seen
mean
it.
for one?
There's a
haven't seen
there's a
much.
TV spot that was just shown today that actually is really cool.
Because I've seen a ton of PS4 ads.
I think
They have a
Sony.
Taco Bell tie-in and-
A lot of people said that what's happening this generation is the reverse of what happened last generation. If you think about coming out of PlayStation 2 and the first Xbox, Sony was somewhat complacent after the massive success of PS2. PS3 wasn't the best product at launch. Microsoft were really hungry. 360 was a great product. And now what we're seeing is maybe the reverse of that.
Absolutely.
Because the success of 360, and it took PS3 a long time to catch up.
Microsoft's the one with the hubris now.
Microsoft's complacent and Sony's the hungry one, and that's why we're seeing a lot more effort maybe on the PlayStation side and a lot more excitement.
Sure, and then there's also been kind of a regime change in both instances. You know, the team at Microsoft is not the team that launched the 360 for the most part,
right?
And also, you know, Sony US has taken a lot more of a role in the launch of this console. You know, and
I think Microsoft is still trying to shake off some of the bad PR they had in the early days with the non-shareable games. I mean, obviously they 180'd all of that, but I feel like that stink is still on them a little bit.
Yeah, I think it.
I can't believe that when Microsoft literally, when the 360 was a success because Sony was complacent with the PS3, that they're doing the same thing 3 years later, 6 years later, 7 years later.
PS2.
No, Sony was complacent with the PS3 because of the PS2.
Yes.
I can't. It shocks me that they took advantage of that last generation, built a good platform, leaned into stuff that people wanted, like online, and then completely fucked up this launch.
Right.
From the very first announcement all the way through, until they were coming back and saying, "Hey, we're doing this stuff," and then we're pulling back from it.
Right. Well,
it's crazy.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but strange things are afoot at Microsoft, kind of top to bottom right now, right?
It is a transitional
they're
period.
in a very transitional era for them.
Yeah, I mean, but this is a piece of hardware that was in the works for 6-7 years, obviously.
Sure.
And it's not like that nobody. I mean, maybe nobody there knew that people would flip out as much as they did. Or maybe the people that were making the decisions had to touch the fire. Sometimes that happens. The people who know how the community is going to react say, "Look, guys, this isn't going to go over well." And then the people who are the new decision makers over this group say, "Let's give it a try." Yeah. Usually they'll suck down anything if we feed it to them. And then they touched the fire and they got burned over and over and over again. So I don't know.
There's been a lot of red meat in the past few weeks for people that like to indulge in tech tribalism and system wars, and people go into their various camps. But I do think at the end of the day, when the dust settles, like 3 or 4 years from now, when both of these new generation systems are mature, it's going to be the same as it ever was. Two very powerful systems, not much between them. When people ask which one should I get, it's going to be a case of, well, let's talk about your specific. What do you want to do? Because there's not much in it. What kind of games do you like? Blah, blah, blah.
That's what it always comes down to. Which games do you want? What is the system all your friends are playing on? Which one has like kind of the base level system features that you like better? Like it's not. Nobody ever went out and made a purchasing decision for a console based on what looked better.
I think
what had a slightly faster GPU.
I think the price is the biggest thing right now going against Microsoft.
Yeah, price is a huge.
It's going to be this. It's going to be the same as last generation in reverse, where Sony hamstrung themselves with a crazy price, and it wasn't. And so they struggled for that first year or two, and it wasn't until they found a way to get the price down that PS3 caught up. I think you're going to see the reverse of that this generation. PlayStation 4 takes an early lead in sales, and Microsoft eventually will find a way. They're not going to decouple the Kinect. I don't think they can do that. But I think they'll find a way to sell that. Oh, you really think otherwise?
Well, I don't know. They already lifted the restriction
that you have to have
that it has to be connected to work.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
but I think they had
could.
to do that to stop people feeling like the NSA is like staring at them in their underpants.
But not so
which a lot
developers
of people
feel
worry
like
about.
that people might be they have
Like,
to
at
develop
least
for
now
games or for consoles without Kinect.
Yeah, it's easier to build a Kinect game if all people have to do is go to the closet and fish out the Kinect and hook it up rather than go
that's
buy
true.
one. The thing that's interesting to me, I mean, the thing that's important to keep in mind, especially as we get closer and people get really cranked up and you see the nonsense about PlayStation being better, Xbox, it doesn't matter. The thing that's important at the end of the day for people who play games on consoles is that if there are two strong platforms, we have a large multi-platform roster of games.
Yeah.
That's better for everyone.
Absolutely. That is the number one reason that I find the tribalism that you talk about so tiresome, because
It is tiresome.
wanting the other guy. First of all, who cares about the other guy? Like why are you aligning yourself with one side? But also wanting the other side to lose is bad.
People like to feel like they belong to a team. That's how sports works.
Yeah, sure.
And they also feel the need to validate their decision.
Well,
they pick one.
Yeah, that's the big
The majority of people don't have the luxury that some of us do to just
sure.
buy both systems,
Sure,
and they feel the need to feel good about the one that they went with.
But if the other side, quote unquote, is doing better in some way, that's just going to inspire your team to push that much harder.
And
kind
again,
of
at the
deliver
end of the
better stuff
day-
for you. You know,
at
it's
the
like
end-
the more healthy platforms there are out there, the better it is.
Honestly, if I didn't have the luxury of buying both and I had to pick one, I would probably just flip a coin and in the security knowing that I'm going to be happy with whichever one it is. The only thing you're really going to miss out on is, like you said, the handful of exclusive games you might be
And where your
interested
friends
in.
are.
Yeah, that's the absolutely.
Well, for 360, I slightly prefer the controller on 3. For me, it's always been when a multi-platform game comes out, it's usually they perform the same on both systems. So it comes down to controller. I personally prefer the 360 controller to the DualShock. I don't think that's going to change much this year because the controllers haven't
The
been radically
DualShock's
changed.
really good.
yeah, the new DualShock is
But
much better.
But I
than the
still
old one.
like this
Yeah.
thumbstick placement as opposed to this.
I'm surprised how many people really get hung up on that. I don't have a
It's just
preference. I can go back and forth
it's
without
just-
any issues.
Yeah,
It's
that
just
doesn't
my
bother me
it's
at
just
all.
my preference.
Yeah.
And also where your friends are. Most of my friends are on 360, but I feel like
I
again,
think
if
that's probably gonna
if more
shift.
people
Yeah.
start
Yeah.
adopting the PS4 this generation,
I think those friends lists are going to become very fractured.
I think it will be easier to. I think basically I'm gonna have the same wind up probably with much the same friends list on both.
Prior to the Watch Dogs delay, I was talking to people about what game they were playing, what platform they're playing that on, and I mean, amongst the people who I usually play multiplayer games with, it seems like everybody was going PS4.
Yeah,
so.
absolutely the experience I had, to the point that, like you saw,
Whoa, here come the
Candy's
Kit
coming out.
Kats. Those sound crunchy.
Oh, that sounds
No
good.
crunchy
Yes.
food
That
on,
sounds good.
on Mike. That's
Those
the rule.
pumpkin Kit
I will step
Kats?
away. These are my favorite. These things are like goddamn crack. These are special Halloween
Is
edition
goddamn
Kit
crack
Kats
stronger than regular crack?
that they make for Halloween only. They are orange, and they are white chocolate.
Interesting.
So
And
they're
they're my
even worse
favorite.
for you.
Yeah, they're not good for you at all. But it's
Wow,
Halloween.
they are really orange.
Yeah, they're really bright orange.
man.
Everyone's
Oh,
going to
we're gonna eat these on camera. People are gonna love us.
I'm going to step away from the mic.
construction orange.
Yeah.
Wow.
Gary, you ate you did it again. Gary ate his Kit Kats without crunching.
I go
what I was about to do.
I go across the
I
bars.
break across. Gary just broke right across it's bananas.
I'm all about breaking boundaries and not respecting.
Well, there's only 2 of them.
Yeah.
Why not?
Why are there only 2?
crumbs.
Yeah, it's easier.
snack size.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's for kids.
Biting.
That's delicious.
I told you they're the best.
I'm sure the guys in chat love that.
I gave one of these to my neighbor the other day as a sample. She went out and bought a whole bag.
Are
What
you
a friend you are.
Are you an aficionado of Kit Kat?
I personally am a very big fan of Kit Kat.
Are you aware of the diverse product offering in Japan?
Oh yeah, the green tea Kit Kats
Green
are
tea.
among
Oh
my
my
favorites.
god, yeah.
Well,
Best
there's
candy
green
on the
tea and
planet.
there's green tea Sakura.
What's the
There's
difference?
I don't know.
Well, there are so many.
So
I mean, you can go on.
even within the green tea.
I went on the web one. I
I
made the mistake of going on the website one time and looking at all the different types of Kit Kats that are available around the world. And
yeah.
there are so many
Kit Kat
interesting
Joey, guys.
flavors. Oh, Joey needs a Kit Kat.
Nice.
Wow,
cat.
that
Nice
was an
catch,
epic
Joey.
catch.
Wow, that was like some hard grabbing. He just reached out and
That was like a Captain America
lifted it
shield
from the sky.
shield kick.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
We haven't had you on the podcast in a while, bro.
No. It's been ages.
It's been not through lack of trying,
No.
just to be clear.
Yeah.
But
hard to get out of the
it's
office
A
these
busy
days.
guy, and
Yeah.
no, it's tough times. What else is going on besides the new console stuff? Are you guys into iOS games, or I know you're?
I haven't been playing a lot of iOS games. I've been downloading a lot of iOS games and then never launching them.
Where are you in your phone life right now?
I'm on an iPhone 5.
Okay.
You
Still got
bought more or less after launch.
Still
last
got
year, right?
still got a year left in contract on that. I did go to the Apple Store and see how much I could get for trade-in on a 5S.
That's always a bad deal.
Not much.
Yeah.
It was still. I have a 64 gig and I can't go back now. So to get a 64 gig 5S,
It's $1,000.
yeah, even trading this phone in was going to be $700 out of pocket.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Yeah. I'm
That's,
skipping
that's
this
both
gen.
consoles.
Yeah, almost.
Yeah.
Do you play a lot of?
But you bought a Wii U.
I did.
Why did you buy a Wii
Can we
U?
talk about Wii U?
I'm genuinely curious.
Because I mean, that's like, call me crazy, but my litmus test for should I buy a new console is there a game I want to play on
Well,
it?
first off, you skipped the Wii.
Yeah,
right?
I never owned a Wii.
So that means you missed out on Mario Galaxy and Mario Galaxy
Oh my
2.
God, the
Those are
best
actually
games.
those are
that Kirby game.
You're right, but those are basically.
But you will get HD remakes of those.
You think?
I think.
Oh,
you will.
yeah, you
God,
will.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope
Because they're not
so.
doing Galaxy 3,
I actually bought they're doing Mario 3D World.
which is, I mean, they're not doing Galaxy.
My
they're
prediction
different
is my
concepts.
prediction is
Yeah.
you'll see a Galaxy 1 and 2. Same way they did Wind Waker, you'll see a Galaxy 1 and 2 HD remake on Wii U. I
Maybe.
hope so because
Maybe.
I would play those games.
Oh, I would play those games
Super Mario
again.
Galaxy is seriously, it's got to be my top 3 games of all time.
I mean,
It's incredible.
their art design their visual design is so strong that it like I've been playing Wind Waker in 1080p and like
Right.
it looks practically like it was made for that console.
Yeah.
You know? Like it holds up so well in a
Yeah.
higher resolution.
I mean, I always thought it was kind of a shame that Nintendo's art style it's always been a shame that it's had to be rendered in low res because
Yeah.
it's so perfectly
Absolutely.
designed for HD that we're now finally seeing that. It's so pleasing to see it.
Yeah.
I guess I've been very vocally against the Wii U. I still think it's going to fail.
Known hater, Gary
It
Whitta.
obviously had a terrible first year, but I bought it day one. I've been a big. I think the world and the gaming industry is more interesting with Nintendo in it because they genuinely do different things. You know, they're all, for better or worse, they're not trying to copy what everyone else is doing. They do their own thing. They're totally original. And I do think that the Wii U picture is going to turn around a little bit because I think Mario 3D Land looks fantastic.
It does. Yeah.
That 6-minute trailer,
Yeah.
amazing. Just,
For
what do
3D
you-
Land?
For 3D Land.
I haven't actually. I'm going into cold.
I will be
into
buying
3D
3D.
Land.
I will be buying 3D Land.
Now, do you think Apple should make software for other platforms?
You mean
Or
Nintendo?
not Nintendo. should
Nintendo?
make.
I think Apple should absolutely make software for other platforms. iTunes, Safari, both great pieces of Windows
It's
software.
it's giving a glass ice water people in hell.
iTunes for Wii U. Let's see it. I mean, I don't see any reason that they need to until like.
Oh, it's back.
Somebody hit the button.
Somebody hit the button. What the?
I don't know.
down
The stream
stream
died, but
button?
it should be back.
Sabotage.
We should be back. Sorry about that, guys. 24 hours. This is only. Yeah, Dave's here to fix stuff. Dave will be here on in
yeah,
about
good old
20
Dave.
minutes. That's Dave Snider.
Oh, you have
Enemy
a-
Kite from the Twitters.
You have a 5S.
I have a 5S.
When did that happen?
We had to get one for the site. Somebody had to take the bullet.
Yeah, I guess so.
So we were talking about the Wii U,
Yes.
and I don't know how far back we went. The 3DS had a real rough first year too,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
I don't think it's too. I think it's too early to say that Wii U is doomed.
I agree. I totally agree.
Yeah,
I mean,
Well,
I don't.
Look,
I don't.
It had a terrible first year.
Yeah.
Right, but the price cut seems to have helped it.
Yeah, I mean that was the other driving factor for me. I wanted to play Wind Waker, and the price went down, so I said, sure, why not? And, you
But
know,
now it's entering this hurricane of true next gen systems. that are
Yeah,
coming
except
out.
for there's what is in the next gen launch. Like, if you're looking at buying a machine this year to actually play games with
Yeah.
instead of look at menus,
Here's the thing:
it's
as much,
the Wii U.
as, much
Wii
as you
U,
want to
yeah.
joke about the Wii U probably has. If I wanted to play games, the system to get, I would be able to
Absolutely,
get a
there-
Wii U and I'd get Super Mario 3D
Absolutely
Land.
more
I wouldn't
games-
get. I mean, I can't even think of a game
Yeah.
on the other systems
Yeah,
that's going to be
that's
worth
exactly
getting on
it.
day one.
That's absolutely the case.
Thank you.
But also, like, I really have a hard time fathoming people getting so hung up on that system being less powerful than the others, unless you're looking at that as a game to play third-party games on, which you shouldn't be.
right?
I mean, it's a Nintendo game machine.
Well,
But-
and
but-
just in general, when you buy a console, at this point, the hardware is the same. The controllers are both okay, all across the board. Buy it based on what the first-party exclusives are.
Right.
And Nintendo has the first-party
I mean,
exclusives.
that may be that may be the story of the Wii U, like it has been for the last like 3 Nintendo consoles before that.
Well, the
which
Wii-
is
they
that you
sold a lot
own
of
it,
Wiis, but-
you own it purely for the Nintendo first-party games and nothing else.
I think
but
that,
that still makes it worth
people
owning.
that know the Nintendo story at this point know every generation when you buy into that system, you're buying it for 8 to 10 great Nintendo games, and
Yep.
that's and maybe a 2 or 3 really great
Some weird
kinda
shit
out
from
of the-
Ubi.
Yeah. like the weird Mad World type, third-party titles that come out of nowhere. But that's basically what.
But they
you're
used to
getting.
make money on hardware, and now they're not making money on hardware.
Is that the case? I guess that's still the case, right?
They're still making money on hardware?
No.
No, so if they're not making money on hardware, and let's say in a theoretical world where they release the next Mario on Xbox and PlayStation, or maybe even there's a bigger market there, wouldn't the numbers work out where they would just make more money that way?
I guess so.
Massive
that-
user
that's-
base.
I guess
a-
so.
Here's the
There's-
thing: they're never going to do that until
know,
they're,
they're
in
not. They're
Sega's
not.
dire
I'm
straits.
not
Yes,
saying
they're not.
what they're going to do. I'm saying in the numbers, in terms of how much money, if the attach rate, if everyone who has an Xbox wanted to play Mario
I bet somebody
and
in
have the opportunity
somebody
to
at
play Mario.
Nintendo would argue that diluting their brand in that way would be far,
Yes,
far
yes,
more
that's-
harmful
yes.
than any lost revenue.
Yeah.
Man, it's weird.
But in terms of sheer numbers,
Yeah.
It is weird to think about. You're right, but for games, if you just care about purely playing the best games, Wii U is the system to get this
Yeah,
holiday.
yeah. Between Wind Waker and Mario World.
That's what I said last night, and you belittled me.
3D World.
But it's just starting to settle in.
Yeah, I mean, Super Mario 3D Land looks great. Or
Yeah,
3D World. Sorry,
absolutely, yeah.
it's 3D World.
3D
World,
Land.
Yeah. 3D Land was a 3DS game.
Okay, so this
World.
is like the
Oh, this
3DS
is
game,
3D
but on the
World?
Wii U,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
it's
Okay.
like Super
And
Mario
four-
World,
and
but
four player.
3D. And it's not.
Yeah.
It's not. It's not Galaxy, so it's not about like the
Yeah, you're
gravity
not
stuff,
right. You're not
which
bouncing between
itself was a
planetoids
great
anymore.
design thing,
Yeah.
but it's like playing Super Mario World.
3D Land had like single levels in 3D Land had more inventiveness in their design than like entire other platformers that I've seen. Like that game was incredible, and it is the Galaxy team as far as I know. It's the
which is
Galaxy
why I don't think they're going to do another Galaxy.
Right. They're focused on this, but if this game is as crazy and creative as that game was, like it's gonna be fantastic.
I mean, just to be clear, I am totally okay with Super Mario. With them mixing up Mario every couple of years. Like, I liked Mario Galaxy. I liked that they took more Mario Galaxy. I don't know that I want another. I mean, Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 were both great. I don't know that I'm good with another one right now.
Yeah.
Let's do something different every time, keep it fresh, and then every 10 or 15 years come back to something that was good from before.
Sure.
I'd much rather they do that than do what they've done with New Super Mario Brothers, which is take something that was super fresh and awesome and make 5 games in 5 years and make me tired of playing side-scrolling Mario.
That game or that series has absolutely outstayed its welcome.
I bought both of those for 3DS and Wii U. I've played maybe 10% of each one.
Yep.
I got to a point I was like, this is still fun.
Like you think you want to play it,
No,
and then
I'm
you
good.
play it.
Yeah.
There's still no multiplayer.
It is fun when you can get 4 people around. That is
It
true.
is.
It's
That is
local
still
multiplayer
great.
only, though. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, but with the new Super Mario Brothers for Wii U, every time I sat down to play it, I just realized I would rather be playing Rayman Legends.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really hope if 3D World can in any way capture the magic of Galaxy, I'm going to be very, very happy with that.
I think it'll be up there.
So many outfits.
Have you played it at all yet, or have they shown it to anybody?
Played
really?
it real briefly at E3.
I played a little bit at PAX, and
And
was
it comes
pretty
out
good.
right in the launch window, right? It's the same week as all the consoles.
It's
are
in
coming out.
November, yeah.
Yeah, November
Yeah.
22nd.
There's that. There's the new Link to the Past, the new Zelda game on 3DS.
Okay.
Also around that time, like they've got a strong holiday lineup.
Yeah.
So what's the deal with SNES games on 3DS? Do they just not do them? Is it not capable somehow,
I don't know.
or is it?
I don't keep up with Virtual Console
They
like
did.
I should.
They did SNES games on DS, right?
Did they? No.
No.
They didn't have Virtual Console on DS.
Well, you could buy GBA ports.
I think
of,
that's right.
Of
Yes.
SNES games
I
and
believe
NES
that's the
games.
case.
That seems right.
I don't know. I don't keep up with the VC stuff like I should.
Yeah, I wanted to go back and play Link to the Past, getting ready for Link to the Past 2.
Yeah.
I ordered a
Not so much.
I ordered a Retron 5
Yes.
because
I really
think-
want to see that thing.
I think that's going to be the way. I think it's been delayed.
So explain what the
Really?
Retron 5 is.
So the Retron has been around for several generations now. It's basically an all-in-one retro console, and you can plug almost anything into it. And the
What does it
5
look like?
It just looks like a black
a little
box.
It looks like a console from the 80s or
Yeah.
90s.
Okay.
And each year they add more functionality to it. So the 5, which is the latest one to be announced, you can plug, Mega Drive, Genesis, Super NES, NES, GBA, you name it.
Yeah.
If you've got an old
It's like
cartridge
6
sitting
different
around
consoles.
somewhere, you can plug it in.
So one
With
port
ports,
No, it's got different ports
Slots.
on
with
it.
ports for all the original controllers.
Wow.
Yeah, so you can use original controllers. It also comes with its own wireless controllers,
Is
which
it-
don't look
it's
great.
all emulated?
But no.
No.
So my understanding, I haven't confirmed this, but my understanding is that it has the actual, it's like reverse engineered, but it has actual hardware in there to run the games on. But there is also an Android layer on top of that that gives you save states and like Game Genie cheat stuff.
So it's not emulated. It's actual real hardware.
That's what I was told. I don't know if that's 100%
That sounds
case
crazy.
or not. Because when I to begin with, when I heard there was Android in there, I figured the whole thing was just an emulator.
Yeah.
And at that point, I didn't care. But if it really is reproducing those games 100%,
We should get one of those in.
Maybe not
Absolutely.
all the consoles. Maybe some of it's real hardware
it's
and
possible.
some is emulated.
It's possible, and also it outputs HDMI. So like that
that's
just
great.
If nothing else, having that as a way to play those old games like
Yes.
natively on a new HD TV with that
Sounds a lot
output.
better than that thing you
Although-
bought.
and it's
Gary.
only $100.
Although one of the things that I've learned, and you guys have covered this in the past, if you want the true native experience, you need to bust out an old CRT. There's no two ways around that.
Well, the thing, capturing old SNES games, Vinny had to buy a crazy expensive
Yeah.
piece of hardware to
Scan
capture
converter,
SNES and NES machines.
Yep.
So and like you said, CRTs look
But the,
nice.
but the
for that.
great thing about this, if you want to go down that retro rabbit hole, these games cost nothing. You can go on eBay and get a box of like Super NES games for like $10.
It's got like a lot of
Not
Yeah,
all of
you
them
just-
hold up, as you know.
Like, apart from a handful of rare,
Rarities,
expensive
yeah.
ones, you can basically build a really amazing retro game library for almost nothing.
Last week, people in my house were playing Donkey Kong Country, the old one, 3,
The one for SNES.
for SNES, and also Return of the Jedi, which in my mind,
Super Return of the
Super
Jedi?
Return of the
Oh,
Jedi.
that
yeah.
was such a good
see,
game.
both those games in my head were great when actually played.
Well, they're
Not
both
so great.
insanely hard, as I remember.
Super Star Wars was great.
The Super Star Wars games are punishingly.
Yeah.
The
brutally
problem is there are
obscene.
only a handful of games that you can go back and really still legitimately enjoy. Once the 5 minutes of nostalgia is, I remember this, like you kind of don't want to play it anymore.
There's still some stuff for SNES. I remember you guys brought what's Battle Tetris? Tetris Battle Arena?
Tetris Battle Gaiden
Battle
is the name of it.
That is my new favorite Tetris.
It is the best Tetris game ever.
great.
I mean, it's unbalanced as hell.
Doesn't matter.
Ninja Kid for
Okay.
life.
Yeah.
But
there's no
it's so
T-spin.
good. It's so good.
No T-spin.
Yeah, that was pre T-spin. Yep.
Great.
Yeah. But also, it turns Tetris into a fighting game.
Even better.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
How does
better.
that work?
So you pick different characters, and they have special abilities. Each character has like 4 spells, and you basically like some parts of the blocks that drop are little magic orbs, and when you pick those up, it adds to your mana essentially. And then you use those spells on your opponent. You're both playing at the same time.
I kind of feel like Tetris was already the perfect recipe, and you don't need to keep throwing
Trust
additional
me.
ingredients into it.
It's
This
hard
is
to,
really good.
It's what's so amazing about this game is how devilish it is. It's just insidious, the things that you can do to your opponent. Like one character has a spell that inverts the other side's board.
Yep.
Where any empty space turns into a block and any block turns into an empty space. It's stuff like that.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You can
and
just really screw people over. It's a great shit talking experience.
One of my greatest gaming memories to this day is still 1988, the original Game Boy, sitting with a friend of mine with the serial link cable,
Yeah.
the link
Oh, yeah.
cable, both playing Tetris. And sending lines to the bottom of the
Yeah.
other person's
Yeah.
screen.
It's that
Oh
to-
my god, it was the
yeah.
best.
It's
That was magic. The
Yeah.
serial,
Oh,
the
it
cable.
was so
Yeah.
great.
Yep.
I remember when we'd go on field trips, when you'd take the original Game Boy, you'd also bring a Ziploc bag full of AA batteries.
Yes.
Because if it was like you probably didn't have this in England, but if you had like a 10-hour bus ride, you could go through $20 worth of batteries, no problem.
Yeah.
What about
Why
the,
wouldn't you have that in
the
England?
Game Gear?
Oh,
Because it's a smaller
because
country.
we can't go anywhere.
You can't go as far.
All right.
Nobody had a game.
As we'll soon find out.
Yeah.
How's that?
With Euro Truck
Euro
Simulator.
Truck Sim.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Norm's going to do some
Just
Europe
run
driving.
out of places to go. But yeah, I mean, those are the days you just bust out your AA batteries.
So have you finished Wind Waker yet?
No, I'm still
Can we-
chipping away at it.
Can we talk about Wind Waker spoilers? Because it has one of my favorite moments in gaming, that game.
Sure.
At the end of the first 3 quests, so you start the game before you have to go get the Triforce.
Yeah. There's 3, like the 3 pearls that you have to collect.
3 pearls.
Yeah, I just got the 3, and I'm in like the Tower of the Gods now.
Have you gone? You've gone into the cave
I'm
and
on my way to the end of that tower now. So
have you
think
turned
I'm-
them in yet?
I think I must be right before the part you're talking about.
So when you turn them in, you go into this temple is all black and white. It's all unsaturated.
Yeah.
It's black and white. And you walk in, you're like,
Yes.
man, this place is kind of sad. It feels really old and gloomy.
Yeah, there's like a melancholy about it.
It has and the music's great. It has a real moment, and then you turn them in, and this amazing thing happens. And I think it's probably the best part of the whole game. I mean, just to be clear, it is a really good game.
It is.
But it is a moment that has stuck with me, that has really been kind of unparalleled for me in games. So yeah, that's
They really
That's
that
Wind
game
Waker.
that
It's a great
game,
game.
that game does an amazing job of creating a sense of history, and place.
Yeah.
You know? Because all Zelda games prior to that had pretty much taken place in a vacuum. They're just kind of telling the same story over and over again.
Dude,
but
let's
this
see.
like when
Zelda 1 happens in the top left of Zelda 2's world,
Sure.
and then there's the ocean comes in on top of it.
Yeah.
And yeah, okay.
But this game establishing a clear lineage from Ocarina of Time to this one,
Mm-hmm.
like making it clear that that game was a precursor to this one was kind of a revelatory moment.
And you know what, Gary, this is another testament to your point that snap reactions are bad, because when they first rolled out the graphics for Wind Waker,
Oh, people had
the
a
internet
shit fit.
Oh my
exploded.
god,
I thought it looked good.
I did too. I
I
thought
like
it
that
was
they
the
were
best thing
trying
I'd ever
something
seen.
really new.
It's too
That-
QT.
That was like the original internet like kind of tantrum over
Cell shading.
yeah Zelda.
Fuck you, cell shading. No, cell shading's great, man. That
But-
turned out awesome.
Especially now you're seeing it in HD, where its
Yeah.
true potential is real. I think I'd be happy if they just made Zelda games in that style forever.
Yeah, absolutely.
Although I'm not really, I'm the last person to talk about Zelda. I've never really played a Zelda game
Oh,
properly.
do you have a 3DS?
I know I do.
Get Legend
And
of Zelda,
I have
the first one.
the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time remake 3DS.
Yeah.
With the game,
That's
and I've just
good.
never had time to play
That's
it.
good.
So
You play Pokemon on it.
I went back and played the first one.
Really?
Getting ready
Yeah.
for it, because I wanted to play Link to the Past. Then it wasn't available, so I figured, I haven't played this since 1987, 88. It is a game. It is almost like a roguelike in its difficulty,
Yeah.
because the combat's really, really precise. You have to be really fast. It has aged incredibly well. That first game, I think, and it's completely nonlinear. I'd totally forgotten that. So that's what I've been doing with games. Has anybody played Stanley Parable? I don't think we
Yes.
have time to get into Stanley Parable
Yes.
because we're running a little short.
I think probably
perhaps
everyone
you,
but
Brad.
Norm has played.
I've
We,
not
no, we
played
should
it yet.
talk about Stanley Parable.
We'll
at some
talk
point.
about when the thumbs get here.
Yeah,
Because I think
they're
that seems like their kind of
they're
game.
the perfect guys to
those-
talk
those
to
are the
about
guys
it.
to
Yeah.
talk to about that game. Absolutely.
Well, Mr.
But you
Shoemaker,
played it though, right?
I did, absolutely. It's fantastic.
Everybody should play it.
Yes.
Everyone should play
You
it.
have a
Long-
couple
it's a short
hours.
game. Short game.
Yeah.
Well, there's a
Well,
lot
it is.
there.
It is and it isn't.
I probably spent 2 hours just kind of noodling.
That game can take as much time as you want to play it.
Do you want to check in with our charitable donations and see where we're at? So I am. Let's see. We are at. Well, I'll do that one last because it's the big one right now.
Let people know what we're doing. If you're just tuning in,
that's
this is
a good idea.
Oktoberkast, a 24-hour endurance podcast. We're going to have a full days. We're in our second hour, just
Hour 2.
about to finish hour 2.
1/12 almost of the way done.
That makes it sound so much better. We were 148 an hour and a half ago.
Yeah.
And that sounded
Hey guys.
terrible.
Nice job.
We'll get to high five.
Thank you.
Wow, on the third time you got it. Good job.
Well, he fucking pulled his hand back.
You're in my blind spot.
The 3 high fives that Norm and I have had, we've nailed it first time every time.
Well, you're truly an American hero, Englishman Gary Whitta.
We're podcasting for charity, 3 charities, and we'll tell you the URLs in just a moment. They are Child's Play,
Yeah.
Doctors Without Borders,
Yep.
and the Electronic Frontier Foundation. The URLs for each of those, respectively, is test.com/kids/doctors and /electrons. So you're going to support kids, doctors, or electrons. We have
Or a little bit of each. You can
Or
do one of
some of
each.
each.
Yeah, it's
Totally
fine.
cool.
Put them all in your cart.
I don't
Spread the
know.
wealth,
You
why
couldn't
not?
have kids without electrons.
Nope. And you couldn't have kids without Well, you could, but it'd be harder.
Yeah.
There'd be fewer kids.
You
if
couldn't
there
have
weren't as
doctors
many
without
you
kids.
couldn't have doctors without
Okay,
kids.
no,
That's true.
yeah.
It's like the
That's fair.
Rochambeau of.
Yeah.
And you
it's
can't
all
have
cyclical.
electrons without any of those things.
No, all of those things require electrons. So, okay, so where we're at, Child's Play. Child's Play, I feel like we need to push a little of Child's Play's way because we're only at $397.90 for Child's Play, which is still great. Not knocking Child's Play.
Yeah.
But, let's crank it up a little bit, show Child's Play some
So wait,
love.
which charity has the most right now?
Well,
get to that.
The Electronic Frontier Foundation is at $543. Also perfectly respectable. They could
Okay.
use a little more love, too.
Okay.
And then Doctors Without Borders, showing the big money on Doctors Without Borders at $2,404.17. I assume these uneven numbers are because of the 2.5% that goes to the Visa, MasterCard, and Discover, for their credit card processing fees. The rest of it goes directly to charity. CrowdTilt is waiving their fees. They normally charge another 2.5% on their funds, on their fundraising events. If you want to know how to do this, it's tested.com/kids for Child's Play, tested.com/doctors for Doctors Without Borders, tested.com/electrons for the Electronic Frontier Foundation. We'll talk about more of them in a little bit. But while we have Brad Shoemaker here for a few more minutes, what's going on? You got anything you want to plug?
Oh, man.
Because they're going over Unprofessional Fridays
Yeah,
momentarily.
yeah,
Don't
we're
watch that garbage, though.
About to go get unprofesh.
Well, we're
I have no idea what game I'm going to bring.
have you
is a
played
work day.
Batman yet?
What's that?
Have you played Batman yet?
We got Batman in yesterday.
What?
And it came out today.
My friend
So we
Dan
finally get
Stapleton
to learn,
reviewed it already.
What's that?
Dan,
IGN's
Yeah.
Dan Stapleton?
Yes.
Yeah, his-
IGN was one of the very few select outlets that got a copy.
So-
what about GameSpot?
Early enough, yeah, they got one.
Okay, so you guys at least had it in the building.
Yes.
Guys, I'm out of coffee.
So we finally get to learn Batman's origin story.
That's right.
Wow.
Because
Wow.
it's been such a closely
Yeah.
kept secret
Yeah.
that now I personally think that he was
Is he-
bitten by a radioactive
even,
bat.
like,
I thought his mom
That's
was a
my
bat
guess.
and his dad
Yeah.
was a human.
Yeah.
Boom, chicka, wow, wow.
There was a bat planet that was destroyed by its own
So
sun,
you're saying-
and they sent the last son
Hold
of
on.
Bat
In the
Planet,
shadow of the planet.
yeah,
Only
to
in-
Earth,
But
where
in-
he was found by kindly people.
But in the yellow
who
light-
raised him
Kindly
as a
millionaire-
human,
billionaires.
but deep down he knew he was really a bat.
But in the yellow light of Earth's sun, his wings fell off.
yes,
So he looks.
but he
now
still
looks
has
like
bat
a,
powers.
That's true.
Only at night.
But I thought he went into
Hangs
a
upside
time chamber
down.
and was irradiated by bats.
Oh, you know what I did? I somehow went down a Wikipedia rabbit hole on the Flash.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
occurred to me that I'd never learned I didn't know what the Flash is,
wait, which
how he got his
Flash?
powers. Well, that
So
was the
many
thing. They're all
Flashes.
terrible.
Is anybody
Okay.
a fan of the Flash? Like,
Oh, yeah,
I'm
I like the
a
Flash.
Chuck
Flash
Osborne
fan.
guy who's worked with
All of
Flash
the
as his favorite
Flashes,
superhero.
how he gets his power stories. Oh shit!
Okay, Wally West had chemicals thrown on him.
Yes, just like
Lame.
Barry Allen also.
Lame.
Lightning struck chemicals,
Yep.
and the chemicals
Yeah.
splashed on him.
Slightly
These
less
are
lame.
Silver Age
and
explanations,
then
right?
now he has in tune with the Speed Force.
Yeah, they were
The
bad.
what?
And then
The
some of
Speed
the Flash
Force is pretty lame.
children of the other Flash.
Somebody
So
had
they're
said it
fast-
was something
they're
about
fast by-
getting shot with a bullet that vibrated at the speed of light or something, which is why he had superpowers. But I went and looked it up, and they just various different versions of the Flash just get splashed with chemicals.
You know what? No matter
I
how
feel
bad
like they have to try harder. than
Lightning hit the chemicals.
no,
Gary.
no matter how bad the Flash is,
that. You've truly run out of ideas.
still
You're
better
sitting
than
around,
Aquaman.
in the superhero origin story room. He gets hit by chemicals. We've done that. Well, what if the chemicals get struck by lightning? Okay, that's good enough. Print it.
That's why he has a lightning bolt on his chest.
Right.
Lightning Lightning Batman.
I think the Flash is a tough one to do.
It's better than Aquaman. It's still better, no matter
yeah.
what it is.
Yep.
And
Aquaman
But
gets a
they've
bad
never
rap.
been able to make people running super fast look good.
In
you know,
what-
well,
like
you have to make
every-
everybody else slow.
in comics, everyone's
I
frozen
still
in
think
the
there's
panel.
Right.
a way to do it, but like if you look at the old Flash TV series, which is just that blur, it never looks good.
Well, now we have technology. You know, they can shoot the background at one speed and shoot the Flash at a
I
different
think
speed.
there's
It's
a way
time for
to-
a Flash
I
movie.
think there is a way to do it now.
Are you announcing something, Gary?
No, I'm just saying that some bright filmmaker could
Your
figure
spec
out.
script for the Flash.
Who would be
No,
your
no.
ideal director for a Flash movie?
I don't know
McGee?
enough. I don't know enough about the Flash to really.
Because David Goyer was attached for the longest time.
There's a Flash movie in the works.
For the longest
I think
time.
they were always trying to do the Flash.
Yeah.
You think like if I were picking DC superheroes, I would go with the Flash before I would bust out a Green Lantern movie.
I agree that the Flash is easier to understand. He just goes really fast.
Yeah.
I remember a few Comic-Cons ago when they announced the Green Lantern movie. I'd never read the Green Lantern, and it was one of those like blind spots for me. So I said to Norm, who I knew was into the Green Lantern, I said, explain to me the Green Lantern.
Oh.
And 20 minutes later, when Norm was done, I had just completely glazed over. I had no idea what he had just said. I was like, wait, hold on.
They're
I watched-
Guardians of the Universe,
So
the
it's
planet
intergalactic police run by these
Yep.
superpowered
Smurfs.
Smurfs.
Yep.
And
what?
you know those blue dudes.
The blue dudes.
The
Okay,
wrinkly
okay.
blue dudes.
Oh,
They
sure.
run the galaxy, and you get this ring, and you can basically this green flubber, which is the power of your mind, can make anything. You can make giant fists.
Yep.
You know, you can make a tractor.
As
out
long
of
as your
green-
mind can visualize it.
green mind flubber. You can do whatever you want with it. But yellow, if you see yellow, that is bad.
And the
I
original
was like,
Green
what,
Lantern.
I thought he was fucking with me. I thought you just. At what
But-
point
but
has he
yellow-
gone off the script
but
and
yellow
started
is part
making
of
shit up?
Yellow is part of green, though. You can't have green without yellow.
The people who drew in print, it didn't work that way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I don't even know about this. This is a terrible conversation. This is way too early to have this conversation. We need to save this. Brad Shoemaker?
Yeah.
I know you have places
You
to
can,
go.
you can
This
eject
is a
me.
work day.
I'm going
It
to
is. I have
go
to
Are
back.
you here on your lunch break?
Kinda, yeah.
Wow.
Basically.
Thank you so much for coming
Yeah,
by.
thank you. Well, I couldn't make it tomorrow. I'm going out of town, so.
Yeah,
I
likely
wanted
story.
to
Just
make
didn't want to bring us any pork
wanted
buns. Those pork buns, I think, saved my life
Yeah?
last year. Yeah,
Glad I could help.
So thanks, man.
Were they like? They weren't like pork belly buns, were they?
I don't know. It just shouts you.
He got a. It's from that place on.
Barbecue pork buns.
Yeah, that one on Clement.
Yeah,
I don't
dude,
like
they're,
barbecue.
they're
They're like
17.
There are
It's-
like 4 dim sum places per block on Clement.
It's the one that you walk in. There's just a counter, and then the tables in the back are real kind of like not even
that's
there. Really.
also all of them.
Okay.
They're all kind of the same.
I guess you're right. Is the counter on the left or the right?
Counter's on the left. And the one I
Yeah,
went
it's
to.
that one.
It might be the one that you're.
Before you go, what do you think your what are looking like your game of the year
Oh
contenders?
God, man, that's a weird
Oh,
conversation.
man.
Well, I know what mine is.
What is it?
I
Fez.
can't say that.
I
That
bet-
came
I-
out a year and a half ago.
It came out for PC this year.
I don't know.
I think I know what it is.
Brothers.
You
I
might.
think it's Brothers.
I
It's not-
heard
it's
I
It's
heard
not
that there are
Brothers?
not 10 games better than Brothers coming
There
out
aren't.
between then and the
There
end of
aren't.
the year.
There aren't. If anyone who doesn't have Brothers in their top 10 list this year is just doing it wrong.
Yeah, I totally
Either
agree with
hasn't played it or has no idea what the fuck is
that,
going on.
That does not mean there are no games better than Brothers.
Rogue Legacy.
Was that this year?
That was this year.
I guess it was.
Yeah.
I guess it was.
So I
Unless
guess
it came out as a
do you-
beta or
Do you
something.
have to
Well-
keep your powder dry on this for Giant
Yeah,
Bomb?
kind of,
Okay.
kind of. Well, I mean, I sort of don't know, but also, I mean, the weird thing is,
What's-
they kind of,
I mean, is there anything
the
left
big-
that
the
could
big-
still come in?
We were kind of banking on Watch Dogs, but that's not.
That's
GTA
gone, yeah.
maybe.
Well, that came
I mean,
out.
it's
no,
out. I'm just
stuff,
saying.
stuff that hasn't.
It was after
but
Brothers.
all the big Assassin's Creed's not going to do
I
it.
don't think Assassin's Creed, like, definitely not Battlefield or Call of Duty. Like, that's kind of it. Maybe Mario 3D World.
Did Dota
could
come
be
out
up
this
there.
year?
Last of Us.
Maybe.
I know what your game of the year is.
Maybe.
Brad Shoemaker.
I mean, but the overall, like, the broader conversation is going to be really weird because you've got the kind of the big 3, right? Like Bioshock, Last of Us, and
People have kind of
GTA.
turned around on
There was,
Bioshock.
a bit of a,
GTA.
there was a bit of a pushback on Bioshock. When
Yeah.
Bioshock
Yeah, totally.
came out, everyone was like, "Oh, well, this is it. This is Game of the Year." But
Totally.
because it came out early in the year,
Like, I
a lot of other good stuff's
it
coming out.
got
And also,
portaled.
there's
It got
been a
portaled too.
weird.
But also, people
Everyone
have more
just
time to
loved-
like backlash. Like,
Right.
the
Everybody
tides
loved
of internet.
Bioshock when it came out, and now there is this kind of I still think it's great. It'll be in my top 10, but I think there has been a bit of a backlash against it.
yeah, that's definitely the case.
It's a good number
but-
7 out of 10.
But I mean, I can't speak for everybody, but for us, like, I don't think among those 3, I don't think any of them is a clear front runner. So I don't really know.
I think The Last of
Yeah.
Us is probably a clear. I think
it's-
The Last of
yeah.
Us will probably be the one that wins the most.
I'm
awards.
trying to get back to that and then get through the rest of it so I can.
What do you think the other front runners are?
For us, or kind of across
Just
the board?
generally, what do you think the ones that are the most that will get the most awards this year will be?
I think it'll mostly be made up of those 3.
I really like
what was
GTA,
it?
man.
What are the other two you're saying? Last of
GTA,
Us,
Bioshock, and Last of Us.
I think that's not bad.
Those are the three I think that'll kind of run away with the
And
awards.
Dota, of course.
I mean,
It's a possible.
I
It's
don't
up
know, I don't know
there.
how many people are of refined taste.
I didn't think
distinction out there.
GTA would have been in my games of the year, but it is going.
Oh,
to
is it
be.
really?
Oh yeah.
Did you finish it?
I haven't finished it yet,
Okay.
but unless it goes off some kind of weird cliff in the second half, I
really ran out of steam on it. Hopefully I'll finish it.
I had to stop doing side missions.
Yeah. Yes.
But I love Trevor. I love
Yeah.
Trevor.
I love Trevor. Trevor's one of my favorite characters.
Trevor is the character. He is the guy who plays GTA.
I mean, as the kind of embodiment of, or the personification
Right.
of the way you play Grand Theft Auto.
it's the first time I've ever played that game and not felt like I was doing something
Yeah.
that took me out of the world.
Right.
Every
When
time I did anything.
When you walk into traffic and pull a mom out
Yeah.
of her car and throw her on the ground, like, you're just like, all right, he would do that.
That's him. Yeah, he's meth.
Sure.
Okay, whatever. I'm
Sure.
scared of meth.
It's such a bad idea to go driving right after playing
Don't
GTA.
do that.
Have
It's
you
a
ever
bad
noticed
idea.
that? Like, you have to give yourself a good 8 hours to come down.
Burnout was much worse. Burnout was worse.
Burnout was bad. Remember, oh man, remember when Burnout had traffic checking?
Yes, that was terrible.
The best.
Brad Shoemaker,
Yeah.
thank you so much for coming by.
Yeah, thank you guys.
The 2 p.m. hour is upon us
All
quicker
right.
than anticipated.
All right, better hightail
We're
back
going to
to the
blast you off. You go be unprofessional.
Okay.
Don't anybody go watch that. You stay right here.
Aw.
Stay here. You're going to archive it. It'll be up tomorrow. They can watch it after Oktobercast.
I guess.
You can only watch this once a year.
That's fair.
We're
That's fair.
archiving it, though, I guess. I mean,
Okay.
yeah, so
You should
anyway.
watch both.
Yeah. See you, dude.
All right. See you guys.
Thanks,
Brad.
Bye, Brad.
Gentlemen, we are 1/24th. No, 1/12th
112. So
112
much better than
of
148.
the way through the show.
Yeah, that sounds better. We went from 148th to 112.
This
I feel
is-
like
it's getting
we
easier.
made significant progress.
No,
Next up will be what is it?
3/24ths.
Next hour after next hour, 1/8.
No, 3/24ths after the
Which is
next
1/8.
hour.
So
Oh,
1/8.
yeah. Okay, Matt.
Matt.
checks
Dave
out.
Snider started drinking
Dave
early.
Snider with a
Everybody
beer.
told- yeah,
Hey,
Brett-
Dave.
No, I'm not.
Don't,
no.
honestly, he can't do it. Don't.
No.
Do not.
It was way too high. There was something like nefarious with that. Why was
I
it
don't
so
have a-
high?
I don't have a bu-
like you're
I-
not Koontz. You like.
I wanted to get it out of the
You
frame.
don't ever want.
yeah.
You don't
yeah.
ever
All right.
want to get into a
Promos.
high five situation with Will, because even though clearly he's the one that can't do it, he fucks it up for both of you. You both look bad. There's
Hey,
no way to say, well, he's the one that got
Norm
it
taught me
wrong.
the secret of the high five.
Oh yeah, what's that?
It's you watch the elbow. Always
No,
watch the elbow.
the
Eyes
sec-
on the elbow. Don't look at the hand.
The secret
hand's a
is to
mistake.
have some sort of ball in your hand. I think is
A ball?
Yeah,
Why a ball?
like a sports. So, you know.
Oh, like the other hand has a ball.
Yeah.
Well, I was like, how do you high
that's the
five if there's a
secret.
ball? I
Yeah.
can't palm a
You know, have,
basketball.
like, being covered in sweat.
that big.
That's how it works.
Dave Snider.
I'm here. Yes.
People know you as one of the former Whiskey Media top men.
Yeah.
I figure I should
I'm a
introduce you to all the people
former.
who don't
I'm
know.
hey.
Yeah.
Hey, you might remember me from being a former.
Yeah, you might remember me from such things as the Whiskey Media Radio Hour,
Oh, yeah.
Happy Hour.
Heard by hundreds.
to hundreds of people. People, hey, people ask all the time, hey, when are you bringing back the Whiskey Media Radio Hour? And I say that's not our show at all.
Yeah.
You're doing that full
Dave's
time now,
thing.
right?
Yeah.
It's your
yeah.
career in broadcasting.
That's it. Yeah.
Let's see. One time you played Gran Turismo while
did.
we taste tested things, and you poured booze. I think you were drunk driving.
I was taking a
in
shot
a video
of tequila. Yeah, probably every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And the
What could possibly
Yeah.
go?
Wow.
More things not to do at
Yeah.
home.
wasn't the smartest thing.
And
Now
Dave-
you're a father.
Dave
I'm
also,
a role model.
Dave was responsible for my personal favorite highlight moment from the first Oktobercast,
Which was?
when we got talking about dragons.
Oh, that's
Oh,
right.
Dragons
Oh,
was great.
my-
You were
I
really, really
Yeah,
drunk
I
that
did-
night.
do you
Well,
remember
uh,
Until now.
Really
no,
drunk.
Karen was really drunk.
Well, Karen,
You,
no,
well,
I
you
wasn't.
were not all
That's
there
implied.
either.
Well, that's
You were definitely somewhat
has nothing to do
diminished.
with alcohol. That's
The
just
dragons.
yeah.
And
that's
of
right.
course,
I don't remember what we talked about, but it was great.
Yeah, no, I just knew
What
It
was
is
about
gold.
dragons
the
and their
gold.
gold.
The
Yeah.
dragons and
Yeah.
their gold.
it's hard to get Gary into it like a
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dead-eyed
He
stare.
was-
Whoa.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was lost.
I was just
Yeah.
entranced.
And of course, you're one of the founding members of a bunch of dads. The
I
Tested.com
guess. Yeah,
podcast
sure.
devoted to
there,
dadhood.
too.
All the challenges and
Brought
and-
mine into the city today.
Really, that's
Yeah,
brave.
She's somewhere.
Afraid of crack dealers and stuff. You watching
She's all over.
head on a swivel all around.
No, but my wife and I were talking about how we are now so removed from the city that we can't understand the fashion styles.
Can you still parallel
that are
park?
happening. Yeah, like
Okay, that's good.
That never leaves.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah,
Just
give
making
me-
sure.
give me
Don't
the
fall off the
biggest-
bike.
Yeah, if I've got trailers. Like, so
Okay.
if you could drive a trailer, then you could do it.
You want to take a turn on Euro Truck Sim after we finish up here?
No.
We'll strap you into that thing. You can go for 10 or 12 hours. Bring it home.
No.
Okay.
I didn't bring the right gear.
Norm is going to go on the Oculus Rift and drive a truck and eat hot peppers.
You can have a bucket nearby.
I think
we have to.
We don't have a bucket, so
We
you
should,
just have to
we
hold
should
it.
get a bucket.
This is a hot
Joey,
pepper
you might
thing.
need-
Is it,
The
are
hot
you
pepper is the
reviewing
finale.
something?
Oh, no, I'm not reviewing it. The hot pepper is just the.
It's just an endurance test.
All right.
Yeah.
It's just another way to make Norm
Just
suffer
set-
for money.
Just sensory overload in every.
There's a long tradition there, making Norm suffer.
For money.
Yeah,
money.
You've
Yeah,
done well.
we did that a long time ago.
Dave, would you care for a special Halloween edition Kit Kat?
What makes it special?
It's
Yeah,
orange.
Orange.
And it's made of white chocolate.
It was a terrible
Unrhymable.
throw.
That was kind of a.
Sorry,
Kind of
I'll do
did-
better
did
next
dead
time.
quailed
Yeah.
there into the laptop.
Oh, see, I was really.
Oh.
I was really dumb because I was like,
Oh.
oh, the
package
the
is
package
orange.
is orange, but no. the
No,
actual
it's
package
all
is
orange.
itself.
I didn't realize that Kit Kats were that brown inside.
Well, chocolate.
It's white chocolate.
People in chat are asking for the Fungineer. How's your? Can we get a check in on?
They
on
have
your
to make
sister?
it white chocolate because I don't think they could make
could
regular
call her.
chocolate that color.
That's a terrible idea.
All
I don't
right.
think I have Skype set up to call phone numbers. I think I only have it set up to call Skype.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah. Okay.
She's doing good. She's a mess as always. You know.
Yeah. Karen.
I'll see her later.
Okay.
She'll.
They're gonna be cocktails.
No.
Okay. Good. Good.
No,
Well, your
not
kid's
with
here.
Karen.
Yeah. No. Never. So what are you doing these days, dude? Are you talking about it? I should have asked this before.
Talking about what?
What he's doing these
I
days?
build things. I do the same stuff I always do. I
Okay.
sit at home and I code on my computer.
Okay. Making websites.
I do websites.
You're making
I
websites that make websites this
I
time.
make websites that make websites.
Have you been? Are you one of the guys who's been drafted in to fix healthcare.gov?
Yes, I'm in fact.
When I saw that,
what's
my first thought was get Snider on the case.
They have a funny name for like whatever the government contractor that's like the head of it. It's like
I haven't paid attention to that at
senior
all.
manager name.
Oh, is
It's very strange. It didn't sound like anything that was related to a website, which immediately had me worried about.
You would have thought that Obama could have done the healthcare thing because, people credit his tech team for getting him elected
would've been-
last
There's
time.
a big story about why their tech team they couldn't do it this year.
It would have been pretty
Oh,
cool
okay.
if Giant Bomb had been given the contract.
Yeah, we've
to
got an
get- to run
amazing
that
record
site.
of uptime.
This is a refrigerator magnet etched from copper and then varnished of testicles, which you actually
designed.
I
made.
did. Of the logos that I've
Yeah.
designed, this is the worst.
No, it's the best.
Oh, he was our favorite.
The googly bit, that was the only bit that was good that I did. Was that
Okay,
I made
can you
his
tell a
eyes
story?
little-
We talked about the googly bit a lot too.
All right.
Were you? Had you started yet when we did the logo?
I was on the internet.
I was
We
sending
were
it to you. Yeah,
corresponding.
yeah.
So,
yeah, my bit is that I am always the person, I'm always the only designer because I never have any money to start my companies, so it always ends up just being me and one other person.
Yeah.
and so I'm always the only designer there. So it gets down to like we need a logo, and I'm like, fuck.
Just
damn it.
to be clear, logos are hard. I mean, I remember the screen
And I
logo.
can't draw.
You had at one point for the screen logo probably 65 different versions of
and it
all
was
sorts of
horrible.
crazy shit.
You're right. That one's worse than this one.
Yeah, that one was rough.
pretty bad.
so you sat down and you said, okay, I'm designing a logo for Tested. So for people who don't know, Dave designed the original Tested site and the logo.
And okay, so prior to starting at Whiskey, my experience with web design was that it was usually about a 6-month process. There were meetings with 35 or 40 people in the room, and nothing ever happened. It
And then
took
I
forever
said,
to do anything.
Here's your logo.
And then I walked out. I went out. Dave was like, "Hey, what color do you like?" I was like, "I like blue.
Which
Gray is good
It's
too."
the answer that everybody says. Like that's why every website is blue.
They're all blue.
Yeah.
So Dave, the next day came back and said, "Hey, I got a first pass on the site," and I was expecting Photoshop wireframe, like empty blocks, and it was a working site. Like the site was there, ready to go. Everything worked. Comments worked. All that stuff was good.
And then I added nothing else to your website.
that was pretty
for
much
a
it.
year.
Yeah. No wiki.
Yeah.
No, none of that business.
So
Who
what
needs
went
it?
through your head as a designer when you said, okay, I needed something that represents tested?
We said we wanted a button, right? And we wanted
You
fire.
wanted the idea was that it was a hot button that you were tested by fire.
Just to-
I think that was the wording I was given.
just to be clear,
And it became an arcade button. It wasn't even like your standard
I
flat.
had no
emergency
idea so
button.
much thought had gone into
oh, we
this.
we thought about this a lot. And just to be clear, at this point, this is some real irony here. We're pulling the curtain way back. At this point, you were thinking, oh, this should be like a tech site, but kind of like Mythbusters. It's tested. We had a conversation about
Okay.
Mythbusters at
That makes sense.
2010 because we were like, well,
Who
maybe
doesn't like
what?
Mythbusters?
No, everybody
Yeah.
likes MythBusters.
That's the whole point.
At the end of the thing, we were like, maybe we can just, maybe when we finish testing something, we'll just blow it up. Why not?
Yeah.
This is before we really realized how
That's right.
difficult it is to
And then
actually
we're gonna
blow
make
stuff
like
up.
a blow it up button or
Yeah,
something.
like have a big button and put the
Sure.
Testicles logo
That
on
would
it.
have been a
boom.
much better website.
We should have totally done that, man.
That's what the original tagline was.
Well, okay,
destroy-
I'll see you
destroy
guys later.
things.
I'm gonna go register some domains. Yeah, so Testicles, I don't think we saw any other logos. We worked on the eyeball placement a lot, and we worked on the tilt of the mouth.
All right.
That's
Sounds
all I
about right.
remember.
I don't remember. It's one of many horrible logos that I've done over there.
I think your logos.
The funny ones though now is I get to walk into the CBS building and then there's like giant logos that I've done and I'm like these are silly.
I think you're being
This
harder
is
on yourself
right next
than everyone
to the
else would be.
CBS eye.
Well, that's true.
Like there's a big googly fuse that doesn't make any sense. What kind of fuse is a star? Why would a star
Oh, where's it?
be the fuse? The
Bomb.
giant
Oh,
bomb.
because it's on fire.
It's because I can't draw a fuse. I can't draw it, so it just ends up being random shapes.
Do you remember how long it took for you to do the screen logo?
That
was-
Oh, it was long.
the hard part with the screen one. I'll tell you right now is that it's 3 E's, and I hated the name. I couldn't stand the name. I didn't want that to be the name of the website.
But like the eye thing that you ended up with, originally you want like an aperture. And
There was a TV for a while.
the whole part of it was the eye was Alex won the eye. And
I think the
he
eye
wanted a
was-
zombie eye or something, and I was like, I can't draw. Again, I fell back. I'm like, I can't draw.
because of those dragons. Yeah.
This is-
I just noticed that there is a commonality, a similarity between the giant bomb and tested logos. They are basically just like faces going, "Blah!"
They're screaming
Yeah.
dudes on the internet. It fits.
Just mental faces with one eye bigger than the other.
That's the way it works.
But that's good though.
So, and this just we're gonna pull the curtain all the way back today. This also explains why all of our promo stuff, like the things that you did for E3 and CES and all that, were these awesome Photoshop collages.
Yes,
Is because of
that's
your
my
lack of
only art
ability to
style.
draw.
Yeah, I can't draw.
But those collages were
What are we
great.
gonna do?
The collages are great.
Astronaut
Sure.
Lincoln.
I got to that one's
That was a good
classic.
one.
Got to make the last one. I made Ryan a mole person. I think
That one
he
was
was
pretty
like
good.
underground.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a good bunch of them. They're fun.
Did you know who designed the CBS eye originally?
It was probably that guy that designed every single goddamn logo.
John Hamm?
No, the what's his name from Saul
Be
Bass.
here all week.
Yeah.
It was not Saul Bass.
Not Saul Bass.
I do like the CBSI logo though. It's a good logo, even though it doesn't in any way incorporate CBS into it. It's
So-
just an eye.
Yeah, and of course, when I went in there, the first thing I did was build a CMS and put a dragon around the eye and said, "That's the CMS."
Really?
Yep. And then I was just sitting there, basically hoping that somebody would like.
Wouldn't there be
some
like 50
official
CBS
person-
lawyers would always say like, you
Exactly.
cannot mess with our trademarks
That's
or
what I was
whatever.
kind of hoping. Like it'd be a good reason for me to get fiery thrown out.
There
at
you
some
go.
point.
Who designed the CBSI logo?
It's unclear. They don't know, but it was probably done by a senior CBS staff designer.
I love the way that Will teased that up like it's
Yeah.
going to be an amazing.
I thought it was
do
more-
you know who did the CBS logo?
It's more
no, who was
interesting-
it? Oh, nobody knows.
It's more
Like, what
interesting
the
to me that they
fuck?
don't know, but they have an idea.
You can't tee it up like that.
you
made it
can.
sound like that
I just
was,
did it.
You made it sound like it was like Michael Jordan design. It's like oh my god, I never thought of that. That's amazing.
Gary, it's 2 hours and 11 minutes. It's too early for you to melt down.
But I don't-
You got to
I-
dial it back. Just
But I feel like it's warranted. You teed it
what
up like
I'm
it's
paying
going to be
for.
this amazing thing, and it was like, yeah, just
his
nobody
name's
knows.
George Olden, the guy they think who did it.
Okay.
According to Wikipedia.
All right.
So that was actually the funny thing is
He was
then
a staff guy.
when I went and did the webhook logo, I was very much I want pure iconic. I only want one.
You want just like a
one
fish
color.
hook
I want it to be just something
with
that
a
could be
web on
black
the
and
end?
white.
Okay.
Yes.
Are you
What's
pleased
the
with how
webhook?
that
When I
turned
did
out?
that one, and then as soon as I put it up, then everybody was like, "That looks exactly like Westinghouse." I was like,
It does look a lot like Westinghouse.
Do you have any? What are your favorite
you-
logos?
Yeah, as a designer. Or favorite website designs. Start with favorite logos.
It's funny with the websites. The favorite logos, I'd say, I like the NBC. I think the peacock's pretty cool.
The old school one or the modern rendition of
I
the
like
old school one?
I like the old school one.
Yeah.
I like the new one. It's fine, but the old school one I think is pretty cool. The one that still has kind of like the legs on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They show that
that's pretty
sometimes when
fun.
they do like retro, like for Thanksgiving or something.
But
Yeah.
the really good ones are all the ones that are just iconic. If you can take it and make it just pure black and white, like it's a shape, the CBS
FedEx.
one. FedEx.
Hidden Arrow.
Yeah, the Hidden Arrow. That
United.
one always gets shown. Yeah.
United is a good logo.
What's
They're
United's
all-
logo?
It's the U. It's the
Oh, with the tail, the little,
little bit.
diagonal
It's-
tail.
it's
That one's
kinda
pretty
slanted.
good.
But yeah, I've never been
Not a logo
good with
guy?
logos.
Okay.
The hard part you have with logos with websites is just the amount of space they take. So
Are you designing an icon or a name? Right.
Yeah, yeah. Are you having like some sort of sidekick that's there? Like the funny stuff with Giant Bomb was that you designed this bomb and we never used the bomb. We used the
Bomb Gas
silly
Gigante,
deer.
you mean? Yeah.
We
What do you
used
think about the
deer.
new tested logo? It's
Oh.
right behind you.
It's pretty good.
It's better.
It's
much
it's a
better.
logo and it's the name.
It's better.
It's the name logo. It's a
and
logo.
it's
And
functional.
you guys use yourself as the little sidekicks, so
yeah.
you're fine.
Well, we use the blockheads and the pixel art. If you don't know this about Tested and you're logged in, you can mash Testicles, the old logo, and it'll switch between Jamie and Adam's picture, all four of us blockheads, and all four of us pixel art.
I think you have to be logged in.
You have to be
do
logged
that.
in. Yeah, the four blockheads were done by Cal Buzzclick is his name on the
Yes.
message boards, and Fob Washed Steve Kim, I think, did the pixel art. He also did pixel art of the entire everybody in the Whiskey Media family at some point or another.
Cal's great. Cal's like an actual artist.
Cal's the bomb. Yeah. We
Sometimes
love
I
Cal.
send Cal like horrible drawings that are on napkins and say, "Clean this
Make
up."
this real.
Hey, can you make this a thing?
Yes.
Yeah. That's what he's.
I'm
he's
always
good at that.
amazed when they do these corporate rebrandings and they say, "Oh, we've spent $10 million rebranding our logo," and it's just like a fucking red dot. Like, really? $10 million?
Wow, you're kind of turning
or-
into Peter Griffin.
Who's that?
Yeah, the guy from Family Guy. You know what grinds my gears?
I don't watch that show.
Okay, that's probably best.
Or Marissa Meyer redesigning the Yahoo logo. She did it in a day, in a
That
weekend.
was terrible.
Well, that was whatever they did it over the course of a month.
I liked the way they rolled that out.
I think you don't really spend too much time at it. You spend your time on whatever you're
Real
you're good
things.
at.
Real things.
Yeah, you just be good to your customer base. That's it. People tend to come around.
This is the Dave Snider masterclass in
It's true.
Internet. Yeah.
The biggest one that I can think of though right now is basically Valve. Like Valve does everything bad that you would normally think.
For example,
Just that
like DRM.
they're a locked walled garden.
Yeah.
Right? But everybody loves them. I
The
love
client's
them.
kind of
Yeah,
bad. It's always clunky and
Yeah.
slow. It crashes, does weird stuff.
But we love it. It's
Yeah.
fine. Because they have sales and you get good service out of it.
So you just went on a little bit of Dadcast business, and I think we're going to do. I haven't confirmed dates with everybody yet, but I think we're going to try to do an episode around Thanksgiving in the U.S., which is the last week of November, maybe the first week of December. You just went to Europe
I did.
on your first post-baby, no baby
Did
trip.
not have a baby.
You did not take a baby
Right.
with you. How was that? How'd that go for you?
It was pretty easy.
Have you done that,
It's
Gary?
easy on me.
Have you left the baby with a family member yet? Gary Wetta.
Have I left what?
The baby with a family member that wasn't your wife yet when you left town?
We've left
You, like, gone
with,
overnight away?
Leah's mother.
And you went, because, yeah. So, yeah. So you have.
Yes.
You've done an overnight trip away.
Not really overnight, no.
Oh, okay. It was when you were at the premiere?
Yeah.
Okay. That doesn't count.
We were
10
back, we were
days.
back later that same night.
Dave just went for 10 days.
Oh, wow.
And you left the baby here with your mother-in-law?
Mom.
With your mom. Okay.
She raised me.
That's what I worked on that theory too.
No, it was fine. We went to
How's the trip?
Oktoberfest. Went
Ah.
to Paris.
Did you
and
wear
then went to
lederhosen?
Prague.
Wait, can you
did
describe
not.
Oktoberfest? 'Cause I've never been.
Okay, Oktoberfest. I will tell everybody out there, go to
Look
Oktoberfest.
at that one right there, the one over the TV.
And I.
Or maybe
that's
that
where, That's
one.
where I was looking.
Well, I
and
couldn't
then
tell.
you made me look at.
I was
now
just giving
I'm-
you some advice.
I'm
Just
shy.
look at Norm.
I'm-
Just only look at Norm.
Okay, Norm. Go to Oktoberfest. Everybody should go. I thought it was going to be some random drink fest. It's basically a big state fair.
And it's a month long?
It's multiple weeks. I'm not sure.
Is it giant tents that they set up in the
It's
fairgrounds?
basically like 5x5 blocks in a giant park that has some semi-permanent buildings.
Okay.
So most of it is your normal American State Fair stuff with Ferris wheels and parlor games and all that kind of stuff. Just way bigger than anything.
I would want to just sit along on one of those massive tables with the big 2-pint steins and the waitresses
Yeah.
coming with endless beer. Like that to me is what it.
Exactly.
You're going to say, oh, it's just an endless drink. I'm like, yeah, sign me up.
That's
the part that sounds
That's exactly what it is, but very German engineered. So run extremely well. You get tickets. You show up at your table at a specified time. You're there for 3 hours. They
3 hours.
They
So it's all you can drink for 3 hours?
It's not all you can drink. You basically buy when you buy you reserve a table. You get a certain amount of credits.
Right.
They give you like fake money, and then you can use the fake money to buy the beer. But
Right.
like every picture that you've seen of like, hey, here's pretty girls that are walking around with 10 giant beers. That's all true. What was strange to see was that a lot of them had like wrist guards.
Oh, like so they don't get bad wrist issues from
either
carrying
they
15
had-
pounds of
Either
beer?
they had wrist problems.
Well,
and
yeah, I
then
mean, there's
had
a lot
the
of
wrist-
carrying.
Yeah,
That's
a
a
lot
lot
of
of
balancing
beer.
and
So how do you pay to get in, and then you drink all you can in the 3 hours?
You can just walk into the main area.
Okay.
Right? Just like you walk into a
It's a
state
public
fair.
space.
Yes. And
are the Steins, are they boots?
I did not have boots. They were just big, giant steins. I forgot about this. I saw what I thought was your grandfather and took a picture that I meant to send you. It was just.
Oh, you'll have to show me
yeah,
that.
you'll see it with.
I don't think I
I'll put
have.
it up. I'll put it on Twitter.
I'm pretty
once
sure I don't
do it.
have
Perfect.
German ancestry. But
It was Dane. It was a Danish.
Oh,
So you talked to him. You went out.
I did. I took a picture. I specifically went up because I was with my wife, and I was like, "That's Gary Whitta.
All
That's
right.
what Gary Whitta is going to
Okay.
look like when he's old." And then I
All
went
right,
up.
I'll take a look.
He was good and friendly.
Really?
Had good beers. He was like 80.
Okay, so you just walk in, and then you get like chits. How
No.
do you exchange money for beer?
You have your ticket that lets you sit at your table. You're
you're
normally
assigned a
reserving
table?
a table for like 10 people or something.
So you got to have friends.
Exactly.
You should go it as a
so you
team.
should go with friends. This is all like group buying. So that
The
you
idea
get
of
in
going to
cheaper.
Oktoberfest or just on your own, but just sitting there
Yeah.
Seems real
drinking
sad.
Seems really sad.
But the crazier part about it is that these tents, depending upon which tent you're in, if it's one of the bigger ones, 15,000 people.
Wait,
In
what?
one tent.
In one tent sitting at those tables.
Is it like a tent, or is it like a building with a cloth roof?
Some of them are tents. Some of them are like these kind of semi-permanent ones, and some of them are the equivalent of like cheap log cabins.
And some,
Cheap
but some are
log
actually
okay.
tents that
Paint
are
a word
propped
picture
up
with the-
and held down with rope and
Yeah.
Are there circus animals and stuff there too?
There was the biggest Ferris wheel that I've ever seen.
Bigger- wow, okay.
I was kind of disappointed. I wanted to see like different parlor games, but I guess carnies have the same tricks everywhere. So like everything that you've seen. Now there were
shenanigans.
there's lots of gingerbread. People walking around with these gingerbread hearts that say stuff on it.
Well, hold
that's
on,
like
explain that.
It's
Like they're made
basically-
of gingerbread?
It's a gingerbread heart that you're supposed to give to the person that you love. So
Yeah, but you're wearing it on your
everybody's walking
chest?
around them. Yes, it has a piece of string, and depending upon
So
how
it's like
much
Flava Flav meets the little.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
real weird.
And depending upon how much you love the person, of course, is how big the gingerbread cookie that you buy for them. So,
Okay.
like, some people are just walking around with, like, ridiculous giant.
And
And
you
it's
eat the cookie as
practical,
you
yeah.
go?
So it's covered in, like, saran wrap. And everybody, of course, gets way too drunk and forgets this and then bites into it. And then you just have loose cookie crumbs, like, inside of a saran wrap case.
What's the
Great.
bathroom situation like?
It was fine. All of it was perfectly organized. That's the amazing
Like
part.
Disney organized, or like a normal Good America State Fair organized?
Better.
Portalettes?
No, better. No, there's
Oh.
all the buildings have good bathrooms, troughs, good trough bathroom. As
Okay.
long as you're not shy.
So yeah,
You know?
you, like is it
Get
shoulder
up
to shoulder?
there,
You crammed
yeah.
in there? Do you have to kind of shuffle in like in a baseball game, or is it, you know, you can
No,
everybody
it
respects your
wasn't-
space?
No. Here's the funny part. Now that you mention it, there'd basically be like a big separator, and there'd be troughs on each side.
So you're
but the top
facing?
of it, you're facing people, and what would happen is you'd have people kind of drunk. Everybody's drunk and happy, and everybody's talking different languages. So they're just figuring out like everybody's trying to make.
I
small
witnessed
talk.
I witnessed a trough incident once.
I had a Kiefer Sutherland thing once
Wait,
at a trough.
explain that.
I was in L.A. when I was living in L.A.
Yeah.
and had a trough pee with
At a Dodgers
Kiefer
game or something?
Sutherland, and then he started like randomly talking. He was so drunk.
Like Jack Bauer.
Yes, this was 12 years ago or something.
Okay,
Just random drunkenness with like a hug in a bathroom.
and he hugged you.
Like the arm, the
Were
side.
you zipped up
the
at this
side.
point, or not so much?
I was zipped up,
Okay, that's good.
and it was very weird. And I was.
Did you get his autograph? Did you ask him to sign anything while you were in there?
No,
Probably
I was,
best.
I was kind of weirded out.
Pee on my
and I just
napkin.
walked.
I saw a guy pee. You know how sometimes when you go into like an arena, and I think it was at the Coliseum, maybe they have these center hand washing stations that are like that are circular, and they're about the same height as the urinal. They're a little lower. They're like the kind that they put in fields sometimes. And a dude just walked up to the circle thing where two people are on the other side washing their hands, whipped it out and started going right into the into the portable
washer?
sink.
Wow.
It was real bad. There was almost people.
Did you
were,
say anything?
I was still
I saw a
still
video
at the
that was
urinal,
kind of the opposite,
and
of
people
that.
were
A guy
really
that-
pissed.
A guy that washed his hands in a trough urinal because he didn't realize
I've
it
seen
was.
that. I'm sure that
Yeah.
happens all the time.
Yeah.
People get more upset if you pee into the place where you wash your hands, I think, though, than if you're just an idiot.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. What else in Europe? Anything? So Oktoberfest. Did you buy
I went to
Lederhosen?
Prague. I hung out with the Czechs.
Did you buy Lederhosen?
I didn't. I felt really bad that I did not, though, because everybody.
What kind of shoes do you wear with Lederhosen? Is there like a
Clogs.
so you wear like you don't wear your sneaks with
Yeah,
that?
it's all like deerskin stuff.
Really?
Yeah, and
That's
it's
real
just
weird.
gingham shirt, so I have
I
to
would,
have
if
it.
I was going to go, I'd want to wear the whole thing, like the feather in the hat,
Peacock
and
feather?
the the suspenders, all
and,
of it.
And you should do it. And the weird part
You could
is
work that
that
too.
nobody like.
Is there a lot of this, like thigh slapping?
There's a decent amount of that, but it's more amazing. Like,
Basically, how many of my like deeply ingrained racial prejudices about the Germans are true?
if you would have that event in the States, people would find a way to dress overly slutty in it, or to figure out their own style of the traditional garb.
We are
right?
an individualistic group
Exactly.
of people.
You'd see people that would wear like fluorescent color ones or all this
Yeah.
kind of stuff. You didn't see
well,
that
America
at
doesn't
all.
really have a national dress the way that many
Jeans and a
other
t-shirt.
countries do.
Yeah, with the rolled up cigarettes and
Yeah,
signs.
exactly.
It's pretty close.
Hey, let's take a moment and talk about why we're here.
Why? Oh yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah, do it.
We are here. This is our Oktoberkast, our 24-hour podcast marathon for the kids and the doctors and electrons. What I mean is we are raising money for Child's Play, which is Penny Arcade's charity that donates toys and games to sick kids in children's hospitals around the world.
That is awesome.
It's a good charity.
It's a great charity.
They do good work. We also have added this year 2 more charities. We're also supporting Doctors Without Borders, which is a fantastic charity that takes medical care to impoverished nations, disaster areas, war zones, all sorts of scary places around the world that I never want to go to. But real doctors go there, and they help people who are in the most need, I think is the way I would put that probably. And then finally, the Electronic Frontier Foundation is a charity, is an organization that defends digital rights on the internet. So they look at places where copyright infringement, anti-copyright laws are encroaching on our ability to do things and take away our internet freedoms, and they fight for the users, as I think Gary or Norm said a while ago. I can't remember who said
I don't
that.
know, but that's a good quote.
It's a
though.
quote from Tron, I
Yeah.
believe. The
They also
20
do meetups in bars.
They do a lot of meetups and bars. They're big. They're big with the nerds. It turns out. So,
But that's an important fight to
it is.
to wage.
Well, I mean, and so you think that maybe that doesn't reach out in the real world, but they're actually even working against the NSA spying and all of that kind of stuff too. So it applies to everyday life more as phones become more a part of our lives, as we're carrying something electronic with us every day. It's more important every year. So I'm going to give some totals. I'm going to see where we're at.
Where's the thermometer?
We should have gotten a thermometer. That would have been a good idea. Right now. Ooh, we're making some money here, guys.
All right,
We got
let's
some
go.
real progress
Let's
reports
hear-
since the last
let's-
check-in.
Let's hear about it.
The Electronic Frontier Foundation, we have now raised $603 for the EFF. It's pretty good. We've raised $562.90 for Child's Play.
All right.
And we've raised $2,494.17 for Doctors Without Borders. So I think that puts our grand total at $3,600-ish.
All right.
Or
That's not
thereabouts. It's
bad.
pretty good for
So we're about
the first-
$1,200 an hour.
we're about $1,500 away from our first goal.
Stretch goal.
Stretch. Well, it's
Or
not-
just
it's
goal. Just call it a goal.
What's the first goal?
The first goal is if we get a total of $5,000 accumulated
Yeah.
between the 3 charities, then we're going to show the video of me breaking the surface.
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I found that painful to watch.
We'll see how, and we'll play it
I
multiple
may have,
times.
I may have to step
So
out.
what's it? Your total's 30.
$3,600.
All right. If you get to the 5 by the time I'm out of here,
Yeah.
I will donate a logo.
Ooh.
I'll make somebody.
You make somebody a logo?
Yeah, I'll make somebody a logo.
Okay.
well,
Wow,
and
that's
we
pretty
know
good.
how good you are
Yeah.
at drawing logos.
Oh yeah,
It's
From
great.
this
You'll
conversation
get
so
something
far.
that's
Yeah.
not drawn.
Yeah.
Can it be a
Or if
dragon?
you really want a drawn,
Can you draw it on the back of a napkin and then have them clean it up?
Have who clean it up?
Somebody
How are we
else?
deciding who's getting
Them,
the logo?
the person who wins.
How are we deciding who's getting the logo?
Now, do they get to give you a design brief that you will? Do they say this is what they're looking for, or do they just get whatever you shout?
No, they'll send.
Dave's gonna poop out a logo,
I will
guys.
do my best to build whatever they want
Okay.
within reason.
Logo wise.
Yes, I can't draw.
We know that.
I
It's
can
established.
I can do color, shapes, and fonts,
and
Greedy
you-
Dragon.
and clip art.
and clip art.
Greedy
sure.
Dragon.
And if you want a dragon or a drawn dragon,
With a lot of
or
gold.
some
That's
sort
what
of
I would go.
gold.
That's what I would
would
go
totally,
for.
yeah.
Dragon is pretty baller if you're going to look at logos.
But yeah, how do we figure out who we give it to?
So we have a handful of prizes,
Giveaways.
that have been donated by friends of the site. So we have some original art or prints. We have a space gun donated
This
by Bill Doran.
Is great.
Didn't we give that away last
We
year?
gave a different one away.
That was a
last year.
different one.
We have
okay.
a Mass Effect style pistol away last year, and Bill Jorn, who runs Punish Props up in Seattle. He
The
does
clips
Mass Effect
falling out.
armor and stuff like that. He launched a Kickstarter earlier this year for his original design, the space gun, and this one actually has the new tested logo.
It looks great. It looks really good. It's all nicely weathered. It looks super cool. It's cast in resin. There's 2 parts.
There's 2 parts. This
It
is
has a clip. Yeah.
that comes out. They can pop in, and I really like the texture of the grip here. It's Rust-Oleum, the fake kind of pebble
The-
texture.
Yeah.
As Space Guns go, that is a good one.
Oh, is there a signature on the bottom there, underneath the up above the trigger guard,
And there's a signature, Bill Jorn, 2013.
signed by Bill. We have
Punish
some
props.
original art. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Phil Broughton is bringing another Stein of Science. We auctioned one off last year. I think it went for $500-600. It went for a lot of money. What's gonna happen is we'll give away a couple of things by the end of the first 24 hours. But wait. We're going to archive the streams. All that stuff's going up on the site as it usually does. But we're going to have it all up by end of day tomorrow, or Sunday, rather, is the hope. And then we'll, at the end of the donation period, we'll do a quick live show where we draw names from all the donors and we give away all the rest of the stuff. So the art, the Stein of Science, the space gun, the logo,
Sure.
tons of stuff.
Dave, have you seen our
Dave Snider
our
original.
makeup video that we did?
I did.
Yeah, Will got a gnarly wound.
Yeah, we
a
got it
big,
on the forehead.
a big gash on his forehead.
It really hurt.
Sometime during Oktobercast, I'm going to use this smooth-on wound kit, which I'm going to put in front of me right here, to give either
Yeah.
a guest or myself a gnarly wound in the style that was taught in the video to show how easy it is. This is a kit people can buy online.
They have it on Amazon, I think.
Amazon's like $35-36. And
Is it
and
good
then
for just one wound, or can you use it over and over
I
again?
think there's enough of the material, silicone here, and paint.
Does the
and
screamy face come with it as well?
I think you provide your own screen
Yeah.
face.
All right.
The neat thing about it is because it was silicone, like we put it on my forehead because I have a beard, but you could have put it on your cheek and it'll move with your skin. It sticks on and it's a real prosthetic. It's not just a mask. So you're going to do that later in the show?
And I'm going to give
victim?
away a kit.
This one right here.
This is a zombie kit. It's basically the same thing, except this one also has zombie teeth.
So we'll probably give that away by the end of this show, since Halloween is just around the corner, right?
Exactly.
Okay, that sounds good.
People wouldn't receive that in time for Halloween, though.
We can make that happen.
Make it happen.
All right.
I've also
Even
made,
in the U.S. probably.
I also just want to remind people that
Hey,
I've
Dave.
made dozens of Quake logos over the years.
Yeah. So
Quake
Wait,
Clan
wait.
logos.
have you ever told the Dave Snider origin story on the internet?
Probably.
I mean,
I'm
we know about
sure.
hardcore Dave, internet Dave.
Basically, I was playing Quake or Quake 2 Fortress.
You were a
or
Quake 2
not,
guy, yeah.
Rocket Arena.
Yeah.
Rocket Arena 2. Way
Clan
too
Arena?
much. No, Rocket Arena.
Rocket Arena, okay.
Rocket Arena 2, the one that was for Quake 2 in the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Way too much because I had Ethernet. Failed out.
Huge advantage.
Yeah, failed out.
Yeah.
And I was making Quake clan websites,
Oh, that's so awesome.
Wow.
like pretty much full time.
So
I used
this-
to, Quake. I have such good Quake 2. That was the last time I was competitive at games.
Yeah.
The
You
last
played
time I
a
was
lot of
any
Team-
good.
You played a lot
And
of
I
Team
remember,
Fortress.
remember
You were good at Team
remember
Fortress
going
too.
on Blues News and places like that and getting the latest.
Telefragged.
Oh, the best.
Did either of you ever submit anything to Blues News that made the cut?
I
Yep.
was known.
You were known. You were
Blues
part of the
News-
community.
guys.
Blues
Yeah.
News was
I was
like
a high
the
commenter.
source. That was like that was the first site I hit every morning. Was
Yep.
Blues News.
See, I was
I
a Shake
freaked
News.
out
I was a
when they
Sugar Shack guy.
redesigned the site in 2000 when they did a big
With
redesign.
the
They
weird,
slimmed it.
the one that's still there.
Yep.
Yeah.
There used to be that, and I used to
freaked out.
occasionally go to Cliffy B's ownage where he would highlight his favorite Unreal tournament mods.
Didn't Cliffy also do that cat scan website that was all the people who put their cats on the flatbed scanner and
I
then
think
scanned
Cliffy
them?
was in some way involved.
I
with
feel like that was touched by him in some way or another.
Yeah, I think so.
My
But man, I
dream-
remember those days of like trying mods. We built on PC Gamer one of the greatest Quake mods of all time, as you recall.
I don't know.
Tapestries of Injustice.
Coconut Monkey's Tapestry of Injustice, which had some of the most pointlessly bad game design of all time.
It was art.
It was fantastic.
Fish in a Barrel.
Oh, I wonder if we can get that.
Railgun Alley.
Fish in a Barrel, Railgun Alley.
Did you ever play these?
So, okay, it was a
So-
Quake,
so-
Quake
so
2
we-
mod.
Set it
we
up,
built-
Gary.
it was
Explain
a-
what they were.
So many years ago, when I was the editor-in-chief, I wonder if you could still get it somewhere.
I'm sure it's still on the internet.
It's got to be on
Nothing
the internet
goes away.
somewhere. Oh, I'm gonna mod it for Oculus Rift and go back in. Oh, can you
Just
imagine?
just set up the story.
Surrounded by the insanity of it.
So
So back when Quake mods were all the rage. So like 97, 98,
Yeah.
you know, around that era of like between Quake 2 and Quake 3. Everyone was building mods, and we got the tools, and we started to teach ourselves to build mods, and got good. We couldn't build anything any good, so the exercise became how bad can we make something, and everyone kind of went off on their own projects, and we put them all together and made this anthology called Coconut Monkey's Tapestry of Injustice. And as I recall, there were 5
yeah,
mods,
and
5
they were all
different levels.
And the thing about
High
it was
concept.
There
they
was
were
there was the so
Garrett
yeah
explain.
go
the Killing Box 2, Hot Grits Are Flying.
uh-huh.
The Killing Box was killed in development, and we just released the sequel straight to the market as Killing Box 2.
What was in the Killing
So this
Box?
was our first experiment. It was basically just a massive empty cube.
Gymnasium.
Yeah, it was huge.
As big as you could make in the game.
And it was
I recall.
completely littered with BFGs and quad damages everywhere. So it was just instant murder
Yep.
all over the place all the time.
I thought that was the weakest part of the compilation, though. I'll be honest.
No, Column Wars was the weakest one.
Was that the one where you had
Wars.
to stand on top of a
I mean,
massive
they were all. I
column?
mean, it was
No.
a conversation about which is the weakest of these levels could run and run and run. So there was Killing Box 2.
Column Wars.
Column Wars, which I think was the weakest one, where you basically all stood on columns that were exactly the same size as the player model's base.
Yeah.
So you
couldn't
could not move
yeah.
even 1 pixel.
You jump.
And if
Yeah.
you got shot by even this pistol, you'd get knocked off.
You could jump, but no other columns were reachable from a jumping position. And there was lava on the floor, and you would just die all the time.
It was like a Survivor challenge.
Yeah. It wasn't fun at all, which was kind
Or
of
a
the
Zen
point.
Master, live on top of the pole for a week thing. Then you get to the
Railgun
good stuff.
Alley was a really long corridor that was 1 pixel wider than the player model, so you couldn't move left or right at all. You could only move forward and back.
But
And
two
you
players
both got
spawn.
spawned in the center,
Yeah.
facing different directions. And at the end of each end of the long corridor, there was a railgun. And all you had to do was get to the railgun, turn around and fire, and you'd guaranteed hit the player because you couldn't aim anywhere
Whoever
else.
fired twice won.
Yeah.
First. Won.
So it was just a race to get to the railgun at the end, turn
terrible.
around and shoot the other player. That wasn't a lot of fun either.
I was the crazy person that would change the POV so
Yeah,
that you'd
wider.
have a wider view.
Yeah.
And then that would
And then
screw up.
I also made the you just turn off the model so that everybody was just the diamonds. They were the hit diamonds.
Oh.
But yeah, we used to play with the guy that made your guys the podcast music.
Phil Reno?
So Phil Reno and I used to play, and his name's Waffle Stomp.
Of course.
And
'Cause he stumped
was,
waffles.
mine was Dark Star.
So
Okay.
I want to get to the best part of this.
There are two. The Glug.
Glug, we say I know what Norm's doing, saving the best for last.
Yeah.
Glug, which was
I got nothing.
a massive pit,
Okay.
Everyone spawns on their water.
and it was filled completely with water, apart from just enough at the top that you could and get water and go back down. And all the weapons were at the very, very bottom, but you couldn't get all the way to the bottom and back up again on one breath. You would definitely die. If you got a weapon, you would be dead.
So you had to choose between dying and taking some people with you or getting air.
And I thought that we were tackling some interesting philosophical territory, thematic territory. Each one asked, I think, a pretty searching question about the nature of human existence.
I think you
and
overthought this a little
futility.
Well, Railgun Alley. Do you run for the railgun, or do you try to just use the blaster and kill them before they get to the
bit much.
railgun?
Why don't you run backwards and shoot the blaster at the same
You
time?
could do that.
It's a
I
pro
don't,
move.
I don't think we gave you a pistol, though.
Everyone spawns.
You always spawn with a pistol.
Okay. So there was that.
And then fish in a barrel.
Fish in a barrel, which was my favorite.
That was the best of them
Which was
all.
a massive pit, which had one player would spawn at the top with a grenade launcher. All the other players would spawn down at the bottom in a barrel.
Yeah.
And as the top player, you would just spam grenades down into the pit constantly.
But the thing about fish in a barrel that was magical was if all the players in the pit worked together instead of shooting each other, you could knock him off of the ledge.
I thought that politically this one had the most to say, in the sense that if all the people, so this is what's happening in our society, right? The people at the top are constantly just spamming grenades down at the
1%,
middle classes down below. You've got your Mitt Romney up there with his grenade launcher spamming his grenades down onto the middle class.
Absolutely.
And if all the people down below, there were lots of weapons then. If they could just achieve unity and agree to work as a team, you could fire up and kill the guy. But they were too busy killing each other. The guy at the 1% at the top would never be displaced.
Because the
So the
reason
grenades
they were
were
killing
poop.
each other was also occasionally you would randomly, if fortune favored you, spawn at the top.
Yeah.
And in place at the top. So if dying was, you had this small chance.
Yeah, and you were pretty safe because you knew that all the people down at the bottom would never figure out a way to work together. They would just be killing each other down in the barrel while you continued to spam
And there'd always be
grenades.
one person screaming for unity in the barrel.
Yeah, and eventually somebody somewhere would manage to get off a lucky shot. But it was never. I never once saw everyone down in the barrel say, "Ceasefire, ceasefire. We've got to work together against our common enemy." That never happened.
This was ahead of its time.
So I ran a Quake 2 server when you guys released those, and I put those on the Quake 2 server and
You
just
know
part
how-
of the random rotation.
You know how like indie games now are actually making like really profound like political and social points, and
I
we
don't-
were ahead
I
of
don't-
all of that shit.
I don't think you
Fish
can.
in a Barrel was the original like subversive political commentary indie game.
we just made a waffle iron in space.
You made a waffle iron? I made a
That
bowl of
sounds good.
cereal once
For waffle
for
stuff.
Quake 3.
For Quake 2. That was his
Okay.
name. So it was just the entire map was just a waffle iron.
I can't wait till
in
Jeremy
space.
gets here because Jeremy
stuff.
will have he'll have memories of the Quake 3 maps.
Real anecdotes.
Quake 3 is when it went south.
I loved Quake 3,
No,
but I stopped having time to be competitive.
If anyone in the chat or anywhere can find a link to a working Tapestry of Injustice mod, I would love that. I would get it running. I would play it again.
Can we play? We could
Future
probably
live
play it.
streams.
And there are Quake,
Play it here.
Oculus mods, so I could probably get it running in the Rift.
We are not going to try to get that running for. That's a
Well, not now.
Future.
That's a project for me
More
when I
things
get
in the
home.
future.
Stretch goal.
So Dave Snider, I asked you a while ago, and you were
Yes.
coy. What are you working on now? Do you want to talk about it here? Or is this
Well,
not
I've
the
got a
appropriate
couple
venue?
things. No, I've got a couple things. I'm doing one, which is with Andy. I'm doing a CMS system called Webhook.
This is the thing brought to you by Westinghouse.
Yes.
Okay,
You can see, go to webhook.com. Gives you a basic, vague overview.
that sounds great.
But it's basically a static site generator that has a CMS on the background. So people who don't know what static site generator is, it's basically the idea of most content on a website doesn't change all that much.
Yeah.
So why query the database for it?
Oh,
This generates
Absolutely.
It
open a
generates
port.
straight static flat files, so
Okay.
like straight HTML files. So when you edit something in the CMS, it would just build a new HTML page.
So it's
for
like
you.
movable type.
Kinda, but not really.
Okay.
The big thing with it is for us, we always had the problem. Some would say Whiskey Media's downfall was that it cost so much money to run.
It was a little bit expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this would cut your cost down.
You cut out the
fairly
middleman.
No, you still have the middleman. You still push it to the same places, but
Okay.
hosting stuff like a
How-
static website is extremely cheap because you're just doing it over something like S3.
So you cut out the middleman.
There's no.
I don't understand how to save money unless you cut out the middleman. That's all I know. You either
You're cutting out your highest cost to. You just have to remove some of your functionality to like 5%.
So what kind of you don't have pictures? What kind of functionality goes away?
So things that where you would normally dynamically
No underlining.
where you
no
would,
links.
where you would dynamically put stuff into a form.
Okay.
That kind of stuff tends to disappear. Now, over the years, basically, people like Discuss, people like Discourse have been building systems that just run through JavaScript to do a lot of this.
Okay.
I'm losing you.
No, you're good. I understand, but
Yeah.
I'm trying to. So basically, what you're saying is you can make a website,
Yes.
and it'll be cheap to run.
Yes.
Who is it for?
It's basically any content creator. So
Okay.
the nice parts about it are you can build the CMS how you want. You wanted your wiki, you would be able to build your wiki.
I didn't really want a wiki. I just like to bitch about not having a wiki.
Well,
It turns out
everybody needs something to bitch about.
It's,
so,
it does help. Yeah.
but it's fun. The other thing I'm doing is working on, because I've got a little bit more time these days. I'm working on just open source projects, trying to actually give back to the Python community.
Oh, that's good.
So I'm working on this place called readthedocs.org. realest.org, and they do hosting for documentation. So
Oh.
you're using anything written in Python, it more than likely is hosted on Read the Docs. Their website, and I'm working with them. Their website, if you go to it right now, it looks
A little rough.
pretty rough.
Is it worse than tested or better than tested?
It's pretty bad.
Okay.
So I'm going in and helping them out, and probably by the end of the year, that whole site will get a redo.
Get it going.
And just doing it for fun, because.
And you're a new dad.
I'm
You're
a new
6 months
dad.
in?
Yeah,
6 months?
7, getting close.
You're
to
2
7.
months behind us, I think, right?
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
our
future baby.
You're our past
and
baby.
Gary's got future baby.
Gary's my future baby.
Yeah.
What's this?
Your baby is my future baby.
Yeah.
I
yeah,
look
that's
to you
right.
for horrifying
Yeah.
glimpses of the future.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah,
pretty.
no, it's not good. It's
not good.
She's good.
Guys, we're over $4,000.
We are over $4,000.
That's pretty
That is
good.
a lot of dollars.
That much closer to. I don't think we're going to make it in the next 20
No,
minutes.
we
though,
can
to
do
a free
it.
Dave Snider.
Come on, guys.
Logo.
You can do it.
We can
I
do
think
it.
you can.
We are very, very close. Baby's good?
Baby's good. Baby's.
She doing anything fun? She started crawling yet?
Not really crawling. She doesn't like. She's just not interested. She'll probably walk. She's closer to walking.
You think she's going to be
crawling.
a straight to walking?
Yeah.
Cut out the
She's
middleman?
An advanced. Yeah.
Okay.
Something. I don't know.
We thought that ours was going to go straight from
Solid foods.
sitting. Oh, really?
Yeah.
What does she like? What does she not like?
She likes peas. We haven't found anything she doesn't like yet.
Have you given her spinach yet?
I haven't given her spinach.
Spinach was the first one that we didn't like.
Yeah.
Gary, what was the first? Did you get funny faces?
Pineapple? Didn't somebody say pineapple?
Pineapple's tart and sweet at the same time.
Yeah.
We try to stay away from the super sweet stuff because we're
Your baby
afraid.
makes a lot of funny faces.
My baby?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. My baby does. Well, I mean, it's genetic, right? Did you when you started out with the food,
Yeah.
were you worried about stuff? We're gonna do a mini dad cast here. I apologize, Norm.
No.
No.
I was more worried that she wouldn't have any, but she went right for it.
Does she do the thing where she sees the spoon coming and just goes?
Yeah.
Because that's the best.
Yeah.
It's my favorite thing
It's
in
really
the world.
fun. Then
yeah.
when she doesn't do it, you make the airplane sounds, and she opens right up.
Yeah. Sometimes it's just like not in her field of vision. So I think the airplane doing the airplane just gets it into the field of vision. She's like, oh wait, it's there.
The bad part now is I'll try and just bring stuff up for her to smell or something, and she'll think it's food. And
My baby
Not
loves
that.
the smell of coffee.
yeah.
She just she wants to go up and she knows she can't drink it now. She gets that, but she just goes up and puts her nose on the rim of the cup and goes. Cause it's real weird. I didn't think babies would like coffee, but she likes the way it smells.
Yeah.
I guess
Well, she's also,
mimicking
she's your daughter.
a little sponge. What's on your docket for the afternoon? You have a big city adventure?
So when you live outside the city and you have a child,
Yeah.
and then you come into the city with the family, you basically announce that you're going to be in the city.
Oh.
So it's like, hey, we're going to be in the city.
Because you don't live I live a little bit outside the city. It's like 20 minutes. You're like an hour and a half away, right?
Yeah, most days I live up in Petaluma.
Yeah.
So,
It's a long ride.
yeah, it's weird. It's a weird 1950s town. There's lots of parades, lots of old cars.
Really, lots of parades.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Like,
parades.
did you have a Columbus Day parade?
There wasn't a Columbus Day, but there'll be one pretty much every weekend in the summer.
Really?
Yep.
So is it a different festival every weekend, or is it just
Pretty much, it's like whatever thing is going on at the
what's
time.
is there like
There's
the Dairy
Roses,
Queen?
There's the American Graffiti was shot up there.
Oh.
Avalon was shot up there. So it has this weird 1950s vibe to
Yeah.
it.
Are there frequently are there pageant winners that ride on backs of convertibles and stuff?
Yeah, there is that.
Okay.
The funny part that I remember was there was the Hooters girls, but you could tell that somebody made the Hooters girls put on jackets and stuff. They're like,
They were
this
not
is
savory
this
enough.
is Petaluma.
Wow.
you put on your jacket.
So you have motorcycle days and stuff like that too, where
They
it's
do.
the
They have
motorcycle
all that
crowd.
kind of stuff. It's just a weird strange town. I love it. It's great.
It's good.
Yeah.
So you're settling in nicely. Okay,
It's fun.
so you have announced that you're coming to visit,
Yes, and so
and now people just flock to your. You're like, I'm
yeah,
going to be in a
meeting
bar
up at
someplace.
going to meet up at a bar, and hopefully it's not too crowded because you got the
Okay.
kid.
Well, kids like bars.
We know the bar owner, so that helps.
I mean, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, this is going to make me sound like the worst parent ever. But babies love bars because there's lots of people around. They're usually friendly and waving and interested.
it's
In
usually
some places
just as long
loud.
as it's not too loud.
Well, right. You don't want live music loud. You want
Yeah.
hubbub loud.
Hubbub.
Babies like a hubbub.
Hubbub.
We were at
It's a great word.
It's a good word, isn't
Yeah.
it? We went to Sebastopol and went to the Hop Monk there, which is a tavern.
Yeah.
It's a like
couple of
local.
those.
There's a three or four of them, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good beer. They have a nice beer garden there. is
It's a
why I like it.
Bennigan's for beer drinkers.
Yeah. Well, okay.
There's no.
I'm gonna go with it.
That's kind of the way that I feel about it.
It's a little more local.
No
than
Monte
Bennigan's.
Cristo, but you know.
I bet they have a Monte Cristo sometimes.
Monte Cristo Bennigan's is pretty much the.
Are we
most
talking about sandwiches?
revolting
talking about
thing
sandwiches?
in America.
I
Are you
love-
back?
You know what a Monte Cristo is?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
a big fan of the Monte Cristo.
What is in a Monte Cristo?
You never had a Monte Cristo?
I might have, but I don't know
It's
the name.
basically it's basically a grilled ham and cheese, right?
It's
but,
fried.
but it's fried up.
At Bennigan's.
Yeah.
And usually you
Wait,
put
they
maple
deep fry
syrup
it?
on top,
Yes.
right?
Wait, so you make the sandwich with ham and cheese,
It-
and then
But
you
then they
put the-
cover it in like basically a
batter,
batter,
yeah.
and then they
Never had that,
deep fry the whole thing.
It's like French toast in a sandwich.
disgusting.
yeah, it's like a cross between French toast and a grilled ham and cheese.
It's a heart attack.
And they put maple syrup on top, right?
Not too much.
No, I don't think they do
It
that.
can depend
There's
on-
mayo.
Okay.
There's definitely mayo involved.
Frequently, I like it when there's a pickle in there, so it's like a Cuban.
It's not an uncommon thing. You can get a Monte Cristo a lot of
Sandwich.
places.
Bennigan's, it just comes with like trumpets and other junk that somebody found at like a
Trumpets.
flea market.
Yeah, that seems right. Is this a Southwest themed Bennigan's, or is this are we going to go with lobster pots or tumbleweeds? Which one, guys?
I always feel like a Monte Cristo, like it sounds good on paper, and it generally it is good, but it's not as good as. It's not worth the feeling of what you're doing to yourself in eating it.
Well,
Like, it'd have to be the best thing ever.
You can
It would
have
to be
Monte Cristo
basically
hangover.
Heroin. Like if it was
I
like
don't think it's as bad as heroin, dude.
no, but I'm saying it would have to taste. It would have to be an experience as good as heroin for me to justify.
Is it real good, the heroin?
I mean, I've never had
put
heroin,
salt on it.
but I imagine
Oh,
heroin is pretty good.
I like a Cuban sandwich because it's salty and the sweet.
I like a
Cuban's
Cuban.
all right.
Yeah, the pickle
I like a
crunch in
Reuben.
there.
We found a Cuban restaurant in the East Bay that made a really good Cuban sandwich.
Good, you have
I'm
to
just a
share.
grilled cheese man, you know?
You
I
know,
like a good grilled cheese.
grilled cheeses are like one of the things you find when you have a kid. Well, you don't because you work at home most of the time. But you come home sometimes at the end of the day, you're like, I don't want to fucking make dinner. I'm too lazy to even go order food.
It still happens.
Okay,
Let me tell you.
Okay, it's good then. I'm glad it's not just me. So that's when we bust out the can of Progresso tomato basil soup and make a grilled cheese. But Brad Shoemaker taught me something the other day that I'd never heard of before. Instead of using butter to make the grilled cheese, he read on the internet or ran out of butter, and he used mayonnaise to make a grilled cheese.
On the outside?
On the outside.
That's gross.
It
In
the
sounds
pan?
gross. But you think
Mayo
about
is
it,
bad in general.
I think you could do that.
mayonnaise is oil and eggs. Egg
Not
yolks.
allowed in my house.
No mayo?
No mayo. I can't stand mayo.
Mayo's great.
No.
You're taking that away from your kid's gonna love
put
mayo.
avocado
But I do
instead
have
of mayo.
like 7 types of mustard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mustard's, it can be anything. That's what I love about mustard. It's not like ketchup.
honey mustard,
The mayonnaise
Spicy
greases
mustard,
the outside of the
horseradish.
sandwich.
There's
and
all
it allows
kinds.
it to fry.
I like a mustard.
Spicy
pan fry.
brown.
But
yeah.
you're not gonna
grill.
fry the outside of that sandwich with mustard.
It
just doesn't work.
If I had no butter for my grilled cheese,
Yeah.
I just would not make a grilled cheese. I'd be like, "This is
You make a toasted
we're out of
cheese.
here. Let's go get pizza."
Would you rather eat 10 sticks of butter all in
10?
one?
Yes.
10 sticks of butter.
I'm in. That's
how you
good.
know it's
all
a
in one go.
Salted
full
or
thoughtful
unsalted?
Unsalted,
Perfect.
or try heroin once.
Butter. Every time.
Wow, this one I'm actually gonna think of this one.
If you're held up
Give
at
it some
gunpoint,
thought.
and it's like
Guys,
you gotta have the
heroin is
heroin.
a really
Wait,
bad
what kind-
drug.
How am I taking it?
The heroin or
Yeah.
the butter?
Is
The-
it
the
snorted,
heroin.
smoked, or
The
needle?
butter.
Am I taking the butter? Well, I don't know. I mean,
Is it butter anally
Can I just,
fitted?
like,
we've all seen
Can I
Last
just eat
Tango
it?
in
Because it'll
Paris.
just make you like drowsy or something.
The butter
right?
you would just like just eat it right
No,
off the
well,
stick.
I know that sounds disgusting to me. Where it's
Right.
like, hey,
Well,
if
I mean,
just
heroin.
get, like,
to me, I
kinda
mean, I'm
loopy.
not an expert, but you inject it, don't you?
Well, okay,
People
then I'm
inject,
out.
snort, and smoke.
Then I'm out.
You
What
can
about
snort
what if you
heroin.
had to, what if you had to smoke crack once instead of being injecting
This is the-
heroin?
And then 10 pounds, 10.
10,
wait, how,
10 you see
10
a
things
stick of butter, right?
Is
10
disgusting.
sticks of butter.
I'll take the drugs.
You'd rather do crack.
Yeah, if it's just like one time, I'll just
There's no such
sleep
thing as
through
be
it.
addicted.
Have you seen Requiem for a Dream?
But what if you could have instant crack addiction?
Yeah.
And then
I
you're a
don't-
junkie.
I don't think I'd have instant crack.
That's what
addiction.
everybody
Well, what-
says right
what-
before they
I'd eat a
pass up
big
the 10
meal
pounds
What
of
do you
butter.
worry- what do you-
I'd
what are you
take
worried-
one stick of butter.
What are you worried about on the butter side? Just that
think
it'd
it's
be
gross.
disgusting, not the health issue.
Could I
No,
melt
the health
butter?
issue is also there. Like I'd have to buy a whole new wardrobe the next day.
10 sticks of butter. Like, how much weight is one
that's
stick?
a pound and 2.5 pounds of butter.
Can I have a delivery
2.5
mechanism?
total pounds
Can
of
I
butter.
use
That's a lot of
like
butter.
popcorn to eat
Yeah, I
the
was gonna
butter?
say, could you
'Cause
melt
then I'll be fine.
2.5 pounds of butter and then pour it on popcorn? So it's
2.5
butter
pounds
soaked
of butter
popcorn?
just poured on pop. That would be even worse.
I'd have multiple popcorn.
It would be
I just eat
swimming in
popcorn
it.
all day. You gave me like no time.
It would be like butter soup with
Well, you could
popcorn
drink
croutons.
2.5 pounds of butter melted down.
It's still going to be a lot of. That's going to be a big giant cup of butter.
that would be.
No,
I
got
think
it.
that would be even harder
I'll
to
take
do.
some rum, put it in rum, and you have hot butter
Perfect.
rum.
That's a
Done.
great idea.
Then I'll just get really drunk, and it'll be
Yeah,
fine. I'll get
and
through
greased.
it.
And it's
I'll
still
feel
2.5
disgusting.
pounds.
Yeah, and I still get my drugs.
Your
Every
heart
once in a
would
while-
probably-
Every once in a while, Joey is putting up baseball players on the screen, and I don't know why.
What is going on?
But I'm very confused.
That looks like an Amish baseball
Yeah.
player.
playing for the Astros.
He made his
Yes.
own bat.
he turned it. He turned it. He turned it on a water-powered lathe, guys. Don't
choose
mock
the butter.
craftsman. You want to check in with the charities and see how we're doing here, guys? See if we've
I
reached
would love for
$5,000.
us to hit that $5,000 goal so that you could design a logo.
This is
I hope that the silliest person wins.
thousands of dollars of labor donated free
It probably
by
is.
Dave Snider.
Yeah.
This could be like a 20, 30-hour
I
project for you.
hate doing logos so much that it
Yeah.
is certainly thousands of dollars worth
Okay.
of my time.
So Norm, are you keeping the tally here? Can you keep the numbers?
Yes.
Okay, so the Electronic Frontier Foundation, if you want to donate to the EFF, it's tested.com/electrons. Right now we're at $788. That's pretty good.
$828.
Oh, what just went up in the time I reloaded? Okay, so it's at $828. Child's Play, I'm reloading again, is at $892.90. So now Child's Play has overtaken Electronic Frontier Foundation now that it's a contest. And Doctors Without Borders is at $2,590.17. So we are mighty close.
We are.
And we have 7 minutes to go. Our next guest coming up in about 7 minutes. Colin Campbell, formerly of IGN, Games
Polygon.
Business. He's at Polygon.
Yep.
Can
wanna
he
see
make
if he-
logos?
I don't think so.
My old podcasting game theory
Unimpressed. Unimpressed, Dave Snider.
How much more do we need? I gotta do the math.
Yeah, that's all I asked. Can your
While-
fancy Surface 2 not do the math?
I got 2 calculators on this. I got a desktop calculator.
Yo, dog.
And I got a whatchamacallit.
Meanwhile, while we're doing that, you want to take read some comments? I like reading comments.
Read a comment. Let's hear a comment.
We've
We
got
need $688
$688
in the next
If
7
you-
minutes.
If you want someone who is not necessarily one of the people who's even donated
If you
yet,
went on Google right now and were like, I need a logo, it would cost you more than $680.
And this logo is also, it'll be public domain?
Yeah, whatever. Well, no, the
Oh,
person
no,
can do
he-
whatever they
the-
want. They
the
want
winner.
a private logo. They want
Are
to make
you-
a logo that's just like, I love my dog. I will make that logo.
Is there? What if someone said, "I want you to make a logo for my white supremacist group"? Would you?
I
would you-
apparently already agreed to do heroin, so like,
you can still take the butter, man.
you could take the heroin while designing the white supremacist logo.
Hey, I have some comments from people who've contributed. Chris Kustrup Thompson says, "Smartphones and condoms."
Wait, what?
He just said smartphones and condoms.
That was the premise behind tested.
that was just Quake 2, man.
That was our first video. Lauren Vandergrift says, "Keep it up, guys. Get people to contribute for every hour they listen or something." I think it would be better if they just contributed once, because if we expect them to keep listening for 24 hours, we probably have problems. Ian McDonald says, "Hey guys, thanks for doing this. I've watched all of them live. This is the first time I've donated. I will stay with the stream as much as possible while I learn Linux commands and play GTA 5. If we reach the goal and somebody doesn't want a logo, will you teach them Linux commands instead?"
That's pretty easy. Yeah, sure.
Okay. LS. We're done.
Sure.
Mission accomplished,
Yeah,
guys.
yeah.
Also, remember, once we reach $5,000 cumulatively over the 3 charities,
Yeah.
we also reveal
We're gonna run a clip.
the Surface video.
We're going to show the video that we've never shown where Norm destroyed a Surface RT.
Where the title of the video on
purpose?
YouTube? No, not on purpose. The title of the video
Wow.
on YouTube
I mean, it was very stupid, though.
is never publish this.
We have a couple of.
Private.
We actually have several
they
videos.
They should have seen it coming. There was only really one outcome.
I don't know how Matt Honan over at Wired did the same video and he didn't destroy his.
He actually did destroy his.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Oh, never mind then. Bill Baird says, "Keep up the good work." If you post comments when you do your crowd tilt, I'll read them on air. That's what I'm saying.
Speaking of
You have
logos,
to donate to do a comment, though.
Do you remember what my spray in Team Fortress used to be?
It was that
also
gif
dragons.
of the
It was
dragon
a
humping
You'd
the
like this,
Volkswagen.
Dave. It was a dragon having sex with a car.
And I
of
believe
course,
that there
the
was a
Reddit
money
thread.
shot.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
this is even before Reddit for
Pre-Reddit,
years.
yeah.
There was a whole weird
Yeah,
art
Oh, it's still there.
subculture of people
Yeah.
that used to like drawing pictures
Oh,
of dragons having
Still
sex
exists,
with cars.
man. It's
Yeah.
still there.
Hey, the widgets
And
got
the one
fixed.
that I had was really disgusting. You know how you can tell when you got a bad spray is as soon as you spray it,
Well,
other,
you tell me you got a
other
bad
players
spray.
come in and instantly try
Yeah.
and spray
Yeah.
over it because they don't want to have
Every
to look
time.
at it. That would happen with mine all the time.
Dave Snider, we're coming to the end of the hour. Thank you so
Yes.
much for coming by,
No worries.
sir.
I'm-
Say hello to your lovely
got
daughter
3 minutes, right,
and
to reach-
child.
we
We have
just-
3 minutes to reach the goal. Norm,
Are
are you
anywhere,
keeping an eye on
are we
it?
anywhere near it?
Are you going to give him a buffer if we hit it like 5 minutes after you're still going to do the logo, or is the offer
No,
off the
they
table?
better get it.
You
I want
saying
it
you
done
want it right now?
You better hit
It has
it.
to happen
I
now.
want to walk away.
We're at $1,770 plus $2,680.
Wait, 1,700?
Wait,
I'm looking at 843, 932, 90, and
Or the widget's
2680,
not
Oh, I
17.
see.
The widgets are fixed on. Hey, if you want to see the widgets that work now, thanks to the new top men. It's like
New
it's
top
like a
men.
band.
You can't. They're dead.
They're still the top men.
They're dead.
What
They-
page
they-
you
They're
broke up?
watching
What
right
page
now.
you
It's like
looking
calling
at
them
that has
Van
the charity
Halen. It's
widgets?
like they're not Van Halen
Oktoberkast.com.
anymore.
Oh, okay.
So they need a new nickname. That's
Yeah.
what you're saying. Okay. Well, anyway, our fine team of engineers
Mm-hmm.
down at Berman Braun in Los Angeles have fixed the widgets on the page. So if you go to tested.com/Oktobercast or Oktobercast.com, you can see the widgets.
$500 is all we need.
They're currently updated. We're $500 short. They're 2
For a
minutes.
Dave Snider
this is a
logo?
nail bite. No. The person who does it's a raffle to win a chance of winning a Dave Snider logo.
Ah,
Yeah.
right. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
Well, kind of.
Only
And-
one of my logos over the course of time has been sent a cease and desist.
Which one was that?
Boompa.
I remember Boompa.
Like it was a car website.
We tried to hire you,
You
when you
did.
were coming to launch whiskey.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
was like, I'm doing.
You
this
were very
Boompa
polite.
thing.
You were very polite.
I don't know. I wanted to do it.
I know.
I needed the money.
It would have been better. Like
Well,
not
the
the thing you would have. We needed somebody there to ask important questions.
But
like,
imagine if you would have had a better website, then maybe you wouldn't.
the whole thing could have.
Yeah.
This would never happen.
fate.
No Oktoberfest.
And you too could have fate smile upon you.
Yeah.
With just think, if you had a logo,
A Snidlug.
you could put it
It's a
on your
Mondrian.
arm.
Yeah,
Or
you get a
could-
tattoo. Will
yeah.
you design a tattoo for somebody if they want that?
You could be. It could just be an avatar. No, I don't know.
I want a personal logo.
I guess they can do with it whatever they want.
Yeah,
but
they can put it. They can put it on
Yeah,
themselves.
they just
Forehead
need-
tattoo. I want this to be perfectly sized to fit on my face.
Sure.
Why not? You're down for whatever.
I'll do. Yeah.
Heroin, butter,
Yeah.
face tattoos.
Or you can just get a dance.
That's true too.
I'll just send you
just
like
get-
5 minutes of dancing
Okay.
or something.
Dave Danson.
Yeah.
Animated
Why not?
GIFs ready to go. We are coming down to the wire. Dave Snider.
All right.
Thank you as always, sir.
No
Thanks,
worries.
Dave.
We'll let you know who gets the logo. Should we cross the boundary in time? I don't know if it's going to happen or not. It's real close. $1,000 on one, $1,032, $26.95, $878. That looks like it's a little short to me, and it's 3 p.m. right now. So I'm sorry, guys. No Dave Snider logo.
But
Thank you, sir.
Gary, have you've seen this video?
What
I'm,
is it?
I'm watching the video. You guys could be watching the video too.
What am I looking at here?
On my monitor right here. Oh my god! I forgot how
Wait,
bad
what
that
is
was.
that over there?
That's the control room.
Oh.
That's coming.
Oh yeah, that's totally
The
freaking
video
me
is
out.
coming from inside the office.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. I wasn't. What am I?
I'm
Oh, is
gonna-
that?
This is the.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
that's the
it.
video.
Oh, that was horrible.
Oh, the humanity. Seated directly to my right now, in a seamless transition,
That was seamless.
almost as if we planned it.
I looked away and I was like,
Magic.
"Holy shit!"
Colin
Dave
Campbell
became someone else.
Hey, Joey, it occurs to me we need to roll over feeds and stuff real quick. So before we introduce Colin, I'm going to start and stop the recorder. And can you put us? Yeah, put it back there for a sec. We are going to do a quick transition for our next archive segment. Justin just rolls through. I just need to start the 3 p.m. stream, which I should have probably started a few minutes ago. While we're doing this, how you doing, Colin? I guess we'll introduce you at the start of the next segment. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I should have planned this better. This is our first handover, so we haven't done this before. It's
Oh,
very,
What are we doing?
Did Dave do like a 2-hour stint then?
No. Every 3 hours we have to start. YouTube only archives 4 hours at a time.
I understand.
So we're
do
doing
it
some
in chunks.
shenanigans to get the chunks going and all that business. and now I'm waiting for it to prepare my live stream. This is
Which is
great
Jeff from last year.
internet.
Still great. So unhappy.
He was super duper unhappy. Okay, and we're back. Joey, cut us in. It is 3 p.m. We are 3 hours into Oktobercast. That is 1/8 of the way done. 1/8.
Every time you put it like that, it always gives me a false sense of security that we can actually do this.
It gets
After
better.
one more hour, it'll be 1/6 done.
That sounds great. And then
Yeah,
after that, we have
makes it
some
sound like it's getting easier
Yeah.
with each hour, but in fact, the opposite is true.
every time. Seated directly to my right, joining us for the 4th hour of Oktobercast, Colin Campbell from Polygon.
How you doing?
How you doing,
guys?
Colin?
Hey,
Nice
Colin.
to see you again. I think I only ever see you at these things.
Yeah.
Have you been to every one of these?
No, just this.
You
I
did
went
the
to
you
one.
did the first one.
Yeah, that's
I
when you
think
gave me
you
a lot of
probably-
caffeine,
Yeah.
nearly killed me.
Yes, we gave you.
Oh, yeah.
You
We
were
both
you
had
were-
blood.
you were
Black
one of
Blood
our
Earth.
you were one of our first hours.